Some pain does not make you scream, it makes you silent. You smile in front of people, then break when nobody is watching. You say, "I am fine," while your heart is exhausted from carrying what no one understands. But listen carefully. What you hid from people was never hidden from Allah. He saw every tear, He heard every prayer, He knew every moment you almost gave up. You may feel forgotten, but Allah has not forgotten you. You may see no change, but Allah can be working where your eyes cannot see. Your silent pain has already reached Allah. Do not give up now. Allah, He knows the pain you never told anyone. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest struggles a believer can face is not always the pain that people can see. Sometimes the deepest wounds are the ones hidden behind a smile. You continue working, studying, caring for your family, and speaking kindly to everyone around you, yet inside your heart, there is a burden that feels heavier with every passing day. People may walk past you and think you are strong because they cannot see your tears, but Allah sees every battle taking place inside your chest. There are nights when you lie awake long after everyone has fallen asleep, replaying conversations, remembering disappointments, wondering why life changed so suddenly, and asking yourself how much longer you can carry what you have been carrying. Even if no one else knows those moments exist, Allah knows every single one of them. Many people believe they must hide their pain from everyone, and sometimes that is understandable because not every person deserves access to your deepest struggles. But never make the mistake of hiding your pain from Allah. The one who created your heart already knows what it contains. Before the tear reaches your eye, Allah already knows why it is coming. Before the sigh leaves your lips, Allah already understands the weight behind it. Before you raise your hands in dua, He already knows every word you are searching for but cannot find. This is why your relationship with Allah is unlike any relationship in this world. People need explanations before they understand you. Allah never does. There are believers who stop making dua because they think they have asked too many times. They begin to believe that perhaps Allah is no longer listening because the answer has not yet arrived. But my beloved brothers and sisters, silence is never proof that Allah has abandoned you. The greatest danger is not that your prayer has been delayed. The greatest danger is allowing the delay to convince you that your Lord has turned away from you. Allah never grows tired of hearing the voice of His servant. Every sincere dua, every whispered prayer, every tear that falls in sajda, every moment you call upon Him while your heart is breaking is precious in His sight. Even when the answer has not yet reached you, your prayer has already reached Allah. Think about how often you have survived things you once believed would destroy you. There were days when you thought you would never smile again. There were nights when your heart felt completely shattered. Yet somehow, Allah carried you through those moments, even when you did not realize He was holding you. The same Lord who protected you yesterday has not changed today. His mercy has not become smaller. His wisdom has not become weaker. His power has not diminished. If He brought you through your previous storms, He is fully able to carry you through the one you are facing now. Perhaps the pain you are carrying has lasted much longer than you expected. Perhaps you have become tired of pretending that everything is all right. Perhaps your heart has quietly whispered, "Oh Allah, I have no strength left." If those words have ever crossed your heart, know that Allah is closer to you in that moment than you can imagine. Sometimes Allah allows us to reach the end of our own strength so that we finally discover the endless strength that comes from depending completely upon Him. When every door around you seems closed, the door to Allah remains open. When people stop checking on you, Allah never stops watching over you. When the world becomes silent, your Lord continues to hear every unspoken cry hidden inside your soul. So do not measure Allah's love by how easy your life feels today. Measure it by the countless times He has protected you from things you never even knew were coming. Measure it by the blessings you still possess, the faith that still lives in your heart, and the ability to raise your hands and call upon Him. Your silent pain has not disappeared into the darkness. It has reached the one whose mercy has no limit, whose knowledge misses nothing, and whose promise never fails. Hold firmly to Him, because the heart that refuses to let go of Allah is the heart that will never truly be abandoned. Your delay is not your denial. وَعَسَى أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. My beloved brothers and sisters, One of the greatest tests of faith is not hardship itself. It is waiting for the dua to be answered, waiting for the pain to end, waiting for the right person, waiting for relief after months or even years of silent struggle. It is during this waiting that Shaitan begins to whisper dangerous thoughts into the heart. He tells you, if Allah truly loved you, why are you still suffering? If your dua was accepted, why has nothing changed? Why do other people receive blessings while you continue to cry behind closed doors? These whispers are designed to make you lose hope, because Shaitan knows that the believer who loses hope becomes weak, and the believer who remains hopeful becomes impossible to defeat. Never forget this truth. Allah's delays are never without wisdom. We live in a world where everything is instant. We expect quick replies, quick results, quick success, and quick solutions. We carry the same expectation into our relationship with Allah, forgetting that our Lord is not working according to our timetable. Allah sees what tomorrow holds while you only see today. He knows what that opportunity will do to your heart 6 months from now. He knows what that relationship would become 5 years later. He knows which closed door is actually protecting you from a disaster you cannot yet imagine. You call it a delay because you cannot see beyond today. Allah calls it mercy because He sees your entire future. Think about the child who cries because the parent refuses to hand over something dangerous. The child believes the refusal is unfair because the child cannot understand the danger. The parent is not saying no out of hatred. The parent is saying wait out of love. How much greater then is the wisdom of Allah, whose knowledge has no limits? There are things you are desperately asking for today that, if Allah had given them to you immediately, they might have broken your heart even more. There are people you begged Allah to keep in your life, yet months later you thanked Him for removing them. There are opportunities you cried over losing, only to discover later that Allah had protected your faith, your dignity, and your future through that very loss. My beloved brothers and sisters, perhaps the greatest blessing is not that Allah answers every dua exactly when we ask. The greatest blessing is that Allah answers every dua with perfect knowledge. Sometimes His answer is yes. Sometimes His answer is not yet. Sometimes His answer is, I have something better. The problem is that we celebrate only the first answer, while forgetting that all three come from the same Lord whose mercy is greater than we can ever imagine. There are moments when Allah delays your relief because He is preparing your heart before He changes your circumstances. If your situation changed today, but your heart remained the same, you might lose the blessing as quickly as you received it. Allah is not only preparing your future, He is preparing you for your future. He is teaching you patience that success could never teach. He is building trust that comfort could never build. He is removing your dependence on people so that your dependence upon Him becomes stronger than ever before. Every difficult day that you survive while remaining connected to Allah is quietly building a believer who will stand stronger than before. So never confuse silence with rejection. Just because you cannot see Allah working does not mean He has stopped working. Seeds grow underground long before anyone sees a tree. Dawn begins while the sky is still dark. Rain clouds gather before a single drop falls. In the same way, Allah may already be arranging your relief while everything around you still looks unchanged. What you call waiting may actually be the final stage before Allah opens a door that no one can ever close. Therefore, continue making dua with certainty. Continue praying even when your eyes are full of tears. Continue trusting Allah even when your heart is tired. Do not shorten your worship because your answer has been delayed. Instead, increase your closeness to Allah, because sometimes the greatest miracle is not that Allah changes your situation immediately. It is that He gives your heart the strength to survive until the perfect moment He has already written for you. And when that moment arrives, you will look back with tears of gratitude and say, Alhamdulillah, Allah knew exactly what I did not. The pain that brought you closer to Allah is not wasted. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. My beloved brothers and sisters, there is a type of pain that destroys a person, and there is another type of pain that rebuilds a believer. At first, they look exactly the same. Both bring tears. Both bring sleepless nights. Both make the heart feel heavy. But the difference is found in where that pain takes you. If your hardship has pushed you to raise your hands in sincere dua, if it has made you fall into sujood with tears that no one else has ever seen, if it has made you remember Allah more than you remembered Him during your days of comfort, then understand something beautiful. Your pain is already producing something priceless. Many of us ask Allah to remove the hardship immediately, but we rarely ask ourselves what the hardship is creating inside us. Before this trial, perhaps your prayers were rushed, perhaps the Quran remained closed for days, perhaps your heart had become attached to people more than it was attached to Allah. Then suddenly, everything changed. The people you depended on disappointed you. The plans you trusted collapsed. The doors you expected to open remained shut. In that moment, when every worldly support became weak, you discovered the one support that never fails. Sometimes Allah removes what your heart has become dependent upon so that your heart can return to the one it was created to depend upon. Never think that Allah enjoys seeing His servants in pain. Allah is most merciful, but He also knows that there are lessons comfort can never teach. Gold is purified only when it passes through intense fire. A diamond shines only after tremendous pressure. Likewise, some of the strongest believers were not made through ease. They were shaped through patience, trust, tears, and unwavering reliance upon Allah. The very trial you wish had never happened may become the reason you enter Jannah with a rank you could never have reached through easy days alone. Think carefully about your own life. There were moments when you believed everything was over. You thought your heart would never heal. You thought you would never smile again. Yet Allah carried you through every one of those storms. Looking back today, you can probably see blessings hidden inside hardships that once made no sense. Some friendships ended because Allah wanted to protect your faith. Some opportunities disappeared because something far better was waiting. Some delays kept you away from regrets that you would have carried for the rest of your life. At the time, all you saw was loss. Today, you call it mercy. Perhaps the pain you are carrying today will become tomorrow's testimony. One day, someone may sit beside you with tears in their eyes, feeling exactly as you feel now. They will believe there is no hope left, and because you remained patient with Allah instead of giving up, your story will become the reason another heart returns to its Lord. Imagine standing before Allah on the Day of Judgment and discovering that your silent struggle became a source of guidance, hope, and comfort for countless people you never even met. Not a single tear shed for Allah is ever wasted. Not a single moment of patience disappears. Not a single sincere dua is ignored. So do not ask only, when will this pain end? Ask instead, O Allah, let this pain bring me closer to you than I have ever been before. Because if this hardship increases your iman, softens your heart, purifies your sins, raises your rank, and strengthens your relationship with your Creator, then what felt like the darkest chapter of your life may actually become the most valuable chapter of your journey. Years from now, when Allah opens doors you never imagined and fills your heart with a peace that no hardship can shake, you will look back with tears of gratitude and realize that the pain you begged Allah to remove was the very path He used to bring you closer to Him than ever before. The door you keep crying over may be the one Allah is saving you from. Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest reasons our hearts continue to suffer is because we keep holding on to a door that Allah has already closed. We keep praying for the same person, chasing the same opportunity, mourning the same loss, and asking Allah to return something that He, in His perfect wisdom, has chosen to remove from our lives. We believe that if only this one door opened, everything would finally be all right. But what if the very door you are begging Allah to reopen is the one standing between you and the peace you have been asking for all along? Think about it for a moment. How many times have you looked back at your life and thanked Allah for something He never gave you? At the time, you cried because you thought your life was falling apart. You questioned why the relationship ended. You wondered why the job disappeared. You struggled to understand why your plans collapsed just when everything seemed to be coming together. Yet months or years later, Allah allowed you to see what you could never have seen on that painful day. Had that door remained open, it might have led you away from your Deen, away from your peace, away from your dignity, or even away from Jannah. What you called heartbreak was actually protection. What you called loss was actually mercy hidden behind tears. The problem is that we often judge Allah's plan through the emotions of the present moment. When our hearts are hurting, we assume that every closed door is bad and every open door is good, but that is not how Allah's wisdom works. Sometimes Allah opens a door to test you, and sometimes He closes a door to save you. Sometimes the greatest blessing in your life will arrive disguised as a disappointment, because Allah knows that if He explained His wisdom before the trial, there would be no test of trust. Real tawakkul is not trusting Allah after you understand His plan. Real tawakkul is trusting Him while you still do not understand anything. My beloved brothers and sisters, perhaps the reason your heart refuses to heal is because you are still standing outside yesterday's closed door. Every day you replay the same memories. Every day you ask, why did this happen to me? Every day you imagine what your life could have been if only things had gone your way. Meanwhile, Allah is opening new doors in front of you, but you cannot see them because your eyes remain fixed on the one that closed. You cannot receive what Allah is sending tomorrow if your heart is still imprisoned by yesterday. There comes a moment in every believer's journey when they must stop saying, "Oh Allah, give me exactly what I want," and begin saying, "Oh Allah, give me whatever brings me closest to you, even if it is different from what I imagined." That prayer changes everything. It replaces fear with trust, anxiety with peace, and desperation with certainty. You no longer worship your own plans. You surrender to the plan of the one whose knowledge has no limits. And when that happens, your heart finally begins to breathe again. Remember, Allah has never taken something from you because He enjoys seeing you suffer. He removes things because He sees what you cannot see. He knows the conversations that would have broken your heart. He knows the betrayal that was waiting around the corner. He knows the sins that opportunity might have led you toward. He knows the regrets you would have carried for the rest of your life. Every closed door carries a wisdom that only Allah fully understands. Every unanswered prayer carries a mercy that time will eventually reveal. So if you are still crying over a door that refused to open, stop for a moment and ask yourself a different question. Instead of asking, "Why did Allah close it?" ask, "What was Allah protecting me from?" That single question can transform your entire perspective. One day, perhaps sooner than you think, Allah will open a door that requires no forcing, no chasing, no begging, and no compromising of your faith. It will arrive with peace instead of confusion, with barakah instead of anxiety, and with gratitude instead of regret. On that day, you will finally understand why the door you once cried over had to remain closed, and you will raise your hands and say with complete certainty, "Alhamdulillah, my Lord knew what my heart could not." Stop returning to what Allah used pain to remove. La tahzan inna Allaha ma'ana. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most painful mistakes a person can make is returning again and again to the very place that Allah used hardship to rescue them from. Sometimes Allah allows a relationship to break, a connection to weaken, or a situation to collapse, because He knows that remaining there would continue damaging your heart, your dignity, your peace, and perhaps even your relationship with Him. Yet when loneliness becomes heavy and memories begin to soften the truth, we start missing what hurt us. We remember the few beautiful moments and forget the many nights of confusion. We remember the promises and forget how often they were broken. We remember how the person made us feel at the beginning, but we ignore what their presence eventually did to our faith, confidence, and emotional stability. Pain can distort memory. When you feel alone, the heart sometimes turns yesterday into something more beautiful than it truly was. You begin thinking that perhaps you overreacted, perhaps the disrespect was not serious, perhaps the repeated betrayal was only a mistake, or perhaps this time everything will finally change. You convince yourself that returning will bring closure, comfort, or peace, but deep inside you already know the pattern. You know how it begins with sweet words, temporary effort, and promises of change, and you also know how it ends with the same confusion, the same tears, and the same question, "Why did I allow this to happen again?" There is nothing wrong with forgiving someone, because forgiveness protects your own heart from becoming consumed by hatred. But forgiveness does not always mean restoring the same access. You can forgive without returning. You can release anger without rebuilding the same connection. You can pray for someone without placing your heart back into their hands. Islam teaches mercy, but mercy does not require you to repeatedly volunteer for harm. Wisdom means understanding that some people can be forgiven from a distance because closeness with them continues to weaken you. Many people remain trapped because they confuse attachment with love. They believe that because they still miss someone, that person must still belong in their life. But missing someone does not always mean they were good for you. Sometimes you miss the version of them you hoped they would become. Sometimes you miss the future you imagined, not the reality you experienced. Sometimes you miss the attention, the routine, the familiarity, or the feeling of being needed. The heart can become attached even to what is harmful, especially when it fears being alone. This is why healing requires honesty. Ask yourself what that connection truly produced in your life. Did it increase your peace, or did it make you constantly anxious? Did it bring you closer to Allah, or did it slowly weaken your prayers and values? Did you feel respected, or were you always explaining why basic kindness mattered? Did you feel safe, or were you constantly afraid of being ignored, abandoned, or replaced? Did you become a better believer, or did you become someone who was always overthinking, begging for reassurance, and doubting their own worth? Sometimes Allah answers your dua for protection by revealing what you did not want to see. You asked Allah to show you the truth, and then the truth broke your heart. You asked Him to remove what was not good for you, and when He removed it, you felt empty. You asked for peace, but before peace arrived, Allah first exposed the source of your disturbance. The answer did not look like relief at the beginning, because protection often feels painful when your heart is still attached to what is being removed. My beloved brothers and sisters, not every person who leaves your life is a loss. Some departures are deliverance, some endings are answers, some separations are Allah's way of preventing a wound from becoming deeper. You may be crying because someone walked away, while Allah knows that if they had remained, your heart would have continued breaking in ways you could not yet imagine. You may think you lost a future, while Allah knows you were being saved from years of regret. There are moments when you must stop asking Allah to return what He removed and begin asking Him to remove your attachment to it. That is often the deeper prayer. The person may already be gone, but their voice remains in your mind. The situation may already be over, but your heart continues reliving it. The door may already be closed, but you remain standing outside it, hoping that someone will return and finally give you the explanation, apology, or closure you believe you need. But sometimes closure does not come from them. Sometimes closure comes when you finally accept that their behavior was already an answer. Their inconsistency was an answer. Their silence was an answer. Their repeated disrespect was an answer. Their unwillingness to change was an answer. Stop waiting for perfect words from people whose actions have already spoken clearly. Your healing cannot remain dependent on the person who wounded you. If you believe you cannot move forward until they apologize, you have handed them control over your peace. If you believe you cannot heal until they understand your pain, you have made your recovery dependent on their maturity. But Allah can heal you even if they never admit what they did. Allah can restore your peace even if they never return. Allah can rebuild your confidence even if they never recognize your value. You must understand that your worth was never decided by how someone treated you. A person can fail to value something precious, but their failure does not reduce its value. Someone may misuse your kindness, ignore your loyalty, or take your presence for granted, but that does not mean your kindness was foolish, your loyalty was worthless, or your presence had no meaning. It only means you offered something valuable to someone who did not know how to protect it. Do not punish your future because of what happened in your past. Do not become cruel because someone was cruel to you. Do not become dishonest because someone lied. Do not close your heart completely because one person mishandled it. Healing does not mean becoming cold. Healing means becoming wise enough to remain soft without remaining unprotected. Learn to create boundaries without guilt. A boundary is not revenge. It is not arrogance. It is not hatred. It is simply a clear decision that the behavior which damaged you will no longer receive unlimited access to your life. Some people become angry when you create boundaries because they benefited from you having none. They may accuse you of changing, becoming distant, or thinking too highly of yourself, but sometimes change is necessary when the old version of you kept accepting what Allah never asked you to accept. You do not need to explain every boundary to people committed to misunderstanding you. You do not need to defend every decision that protects your faith and peace. Allah knows how many chances you gave. He knows how many conversations you tried to have. He knows how many times you forgave, waited, hoped, and returned. He knows that your distance did not begin with hatred, it began with exhaustion. There comes a point when protecting your heart becomes part of protecting your worship. Constant emotional chaos affects your salah, your concentration, your patience, your family, your work, and your ability to feel grateful. A connection that repeatedly destroys your inner peace may eventually begin damaging every other area of your life. This is why you must not treat emotional harm as something small. Your heart is where faith settles, where intention begins, and where trust in Allah grows. Protecting it from repeated harm is not selfishness when the purpose is to remain spiritually and emotionally healthy. My beloved brothers and sisters, you may feel weak because part of you still wants to return. Do not hate yourself for that feeling. Healing is not always immediate. Attachment does not disappear simply because the mind understands the truth. Some days you will feel strong, and other days the memories will return. Some nights you will feel peaceful, and then one small reminder may reopen the wound. This does not mean you are back at the beginning. It means you are human. When the urge to return becomes strong, do not trust only the emotion of that moment. Remember the full story. Remember why you left. Remember the prayers you made when you were asking Allah for strength. Remember the nights you begged Him to free your heart. Remember how much effort it took to finally walk away. Do not exchange months of healing for one moment of loneliness. Loneliness passes, but returning to the same harm can create a new wound. Missing someone is temporary, but allowing them to repeatedly destroy your peace can become a cycle. You deserve time to heal without constantly reopening what Allah is helping you close. Fill the empty space with what brings you closer to Allah. Return to the Quran. Protect your prayers. Spend time with people who remind you of your dignity and faith. Build routines that restore discipline. Serve your family. Learn something useful. Walk, rest, reflect, and make dua. Do not sit in emptiness waiting for the past to call your name. Create a life so connected to Allah that returning to what harmed you begins to feel smaller than the peace you have discovered without it. Lahi, ask Allah for strength in specific words. O Allah, if this person or situation is harmful for my deen, my heart, and my future, remove its attachment from me completely. Do not allow loneliness to make me return to what you saved me from. Replace what I lost with something cleaner, safer, and closer to you. That dua requires courage because it means surrendering not only the person, but also the future you imagined with them. Sometimes the hardest thing to release is not what happened, but what you hoped would happen. You are grieving a dream, a promise, a version of life you expected to live. But Allah can write a future more peaceful than the one you are struggling to release. Do not think that because one door closed, love, companionship, opportunity, or happiness has ended forever. Allah is not limited to one person, one path, or one possibility. The one who created your heart knows how to fill it. The one who removed something knows how to replace it. The one who allowed the chapter to end knows how to write the next one. Perhaps one day you will meet people who do not make you beg for respect, people whose presence strengthens your faith, people who value honesty, loyalty, and kindness. Perhaps Allah will place you in situations where you no longer feel anxious every day. Perhaps the peace you once begged another person to give you will be placed directly into your heart by Allah. And when that day comes, you will understand that walking away was not the end of your story, it was the beginning of your rescue. So stop returning to what Allah used pain to remove. Stop opening doors that required so many tears to close. Stop calling every attachment a blessing simply because your heart struggles to release it. Trust Allah enough to believe that what He protects you from can be just as important as what He gives you. Your silent pain has reached Allah, and perhaps part of His answer is the distance you are now being asked to maintain. Do not destroy that answer because you are afraid of being alone. Choose the temporary loneliness that heals you over the familiar connection that keeps breaking you. Choose dignity over desperation, wisdom over attachment, and Allah over everything your heart is afraid to lose. The moment you stop running back to what wounded you is the moment your heart finally begins moving toward what Allah has prepared for you. Allah is rebuilding you in the place where you almost gave up. Inna ma'al usri yusra. My beloved brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when the pain becomes so heavy that you no longer ask when the situation will change. You begin asking whether you still have the strength to continue. You wake up tired even after sleeping. You sit among people, but your mind feels far away. You continue fulfilling your responsibilities, yet inside you feel as though something has quietly collapsed. Nobody sees the effort it takes for you to appear normal. Nobody knows how many times you have had to gather the broken pieces of your heart before walking into a room and smiling as though everything is fine. Sometimes you do not feel strong. You simply feel that you have no other choice but to continue. You keep praying, but the prayer feels heavier than before. You keep making dua, but your voice no longer carries the same confidence. You keep telling yourself that Allah has a plan, yet there are moments when your heart struggles to understand why the plan must hurt this much. You know the correct words. You know that hardship does not last forever. You know that Allah is merciful. But knowing something in the mind and feeling it in the heart are not always the same. There are days when your faith feels powerful, and there are days when all you can manage is one weak whisper, "Oh Allah, help me." Do not underestimate that whisper. Sometimes the most sincere prayer is not the longest prayer. It is the prayer made by a servant who has reached the end of their own strength and finally turns to Allah without pretending. It is the prayer of someone who no longer knows what words to use. It is the prayer hidden inside a tear, a sigh, or a forehead placed upon the ground while the heart says what the tongue cannot express. Allah understands that prayer completely. Perhaps you believe you are falling apart, but Allah may be removing parts of you that were never meant to follow you into your future. He may be removing unhealthy dependence, false expectations, fear of people, desperation for approval, and attachment to things that could never give your heart lasting peace. The process feels like breaking because you became familiar with carrying those things for so long. You thought they were part of you, but Allah knew they were weighing you down. Sometimes rebuilding begins with removal. Before a damaged building can be restored, the weak parts must be taken down. Before a wound can properly heal, it must be cleaned, and cleaning can be painful. Before a person can walk into a new chapter, they must sometimes release the identity they built around the old one. You may have defined yourself by a relationship, a dream, a position, a person's opinion, or a plan that never came to pass. When that thing disappeared, you did not only feel that you lost it, you felt that you lost yourself. But you are more than what left you. You are more than the opportunity that disappeared. You are more than the person who did not value you. You are more than the mistake that still embarrasses you. You are more than the chapter that ended badly. Your identity was never supposed to rest completely upon something temporary. Your true worth is connected to the one who created you, guided you, forgave you, and continues to call you back even after you have fallen many times. The world teaches you to build your value upon what you possess. Allah teaches you to build it upon who you are before Him. The world says you are successful when people praise you, recognize you, and choose you. But what happens when their praise ends? When their attention changes, and when they choose someone else? If your entire identity is built upon people, then every change in their behavior will feel like an earthquake inside your heart. Allah may allow that false foundation to shake because He wants you to build upon something stronger. He wants you to discover a peace that does not disappear when someone leaves. He wants you to develop confidence that does not depend upon constant compliments. He wants you to learn that rejection by people does not mean rejection by Allah. He wants your heart to become so anchored in Him that worldly changes may hurt you, but they no longer destroy you. This is not a lesson learnt in comfort. You do not discover how deeply you trust Allah when everything is going according to plan. You discover it when the plan falls apart. You do not truly know the strength of your faith when every dua is answered quickly. You discover it when you have prayed for a long time and still decide to remain obedient. You do not know whether your worship is connected to Allah or merely to the blessings He gives until some blessings are delayed. The trial reveals what comfort hides. It shows you where your heart is attached. It shows you how much you depend upon people. It exposes the fears you tried not to face. It brings hidden wounds to the surface. You may have spent years believing that you were strong, independent, and emotionally secure, until one person left, and suddenly your entire world felt empty. That pain did not create every weakness inside you. It revealed weaknesses that were already there. And Allah reveals in order to heal. A hidden wound cannot be treated while you continue pretending it does not exist. A spiritual weakness cannot be strengthened until you recognize it. A harmful attachment cannot be released until you understand how deeply it controls you. Sometimes Allah allows your heart to become uncomfortable because comfort had allowed you to ignore what needed to change. The pain is not always a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. Sometimes pain appears because you are finally leaving what was familiar but harmful. When a person breaks an old habit, the beginning feels difficult. When someone leaves a destructive relationship, loneliness may initially feel worse than the relationship itself. When a believer returns to Allah after drifting away, discipline can feel heavy because the soul became accustomed to distraction. Do not mistake the discomfort of healing for evidence that you should return to what wounded you. A person recovering from poison may still crave what harmed them. A heart recovering from unhealthy attachment may still miss the person who repeatedly disturbed its peace. The feeling of missing them is not always a sign from Allah to return. Sometimes it is simply evidence that the heart is learning to live without what it once depended upon. Healing requires patience with yourself. You may have expected to feel better after one prayer, one conversation, or one decision to walk away. But deep wounds are not always healed in one moment. Some healing happens slowly. It happens each time you resist contacting the person who harmed you. It happens each time you refuse to reopen an old argument in your mind. It happens each time you protect your prayer even when your heart feels numb. It happens each time you replace a painful thought with remembrance of Allah. Small victories may not look dramatic, but they are still victories. Perhaps yesterday you cried for 3 hours, and today you cried for 1. Perhaps last month you thought about the situation every few minutes, and now there are parts of the day when it does not control you. Perhaps you still feel the pain, but you no longer allow it to push you towards sin. Perhaps you are still waiting for relief, but your relationship with Allah has become deeper during the waiting. That is progress. Do not dismiss the quiet ways Allah is restoring you simply because your life has not changed in one dramatic moment. Allah may first change your heart before changing your circumstances. He may remove panic before removing the problem. He may give you acceptance before giving you an explanation. He may strengthen you before He opens the door. Sometimes the miracle is not that the storm immediately stops. The miracle is that you discover you are no longer drowning inside it. There was a time when one message could destroy your entire day. There was a time when someone's silence made you question your value. There was a time when one closed door made you believe your future was finished. But after walking with Allah through the pain, you may begin to notice that these things no longer possess the same control over you. The situation may look similar, but you are no longer the same person. Allah has been strengthening you quietly. He has been teaching you to pause before reacting. He has been teaching you to pray before panicking. He has been teaching you to ask whether something is good for your faith instead of only asking whether you desire it. He has been teaching you that peace is more valuable than attention, that dignity is more valuable than temporary affection, and that closeness to Him is more valuable than any connection that repeatedly weakens your soul. You may have thought this trial came only to take something away, but look at what it has given you. It has given you discernment. You now notice what you once ignored. It has given you boundaries. You no longer allow everyone unrestricted access to your heart. It has given you empathy. You understand silent suffering because you have lived through it. It has given you deeper dua. You no longer call upon Allah only with your tongue. You call upon Him from the wounded places inside your soul. There are blessings that enter through broken doors. Some of your deepest understanding may come from your greatest confusion. Some of your strongest faith may grow from the season when you felt weakest. Some of your most sincere worship may begin in the night when you had no one else to speak to. This is why you must not declare the trial meaningless while you are still inside it. You are reading only one page while Allah knows the entire story. You are looking at one painful scene while Allah knows how it will connect to what comes years later. You may believe this chapter is delaying your life, but it may be preparing you for the very life you have been praying for. Imagine receiving a blessing before you had the wisdom to protect it. Imagine entering a new relationship while still carrying the wounds of the previous one. Imagine receiving success while your heart remained dependent upon people's praise. Imagine gaining wealth before learning contentment. The blessing itself might have become another test you were not ready to carry. Preparation can feel like delay. A tree does not complain because its roots are growing underground where no one can see them. It requires those hidden roots to stand when the storm comes. In the same way, Allah may be building qualities inside you that will support the blessings ahead. Patience, emotional maturity, discipline, wisdom, gratitude, boundaries, and reliance upon Him are roots. People may not see them growing, but one day they will see what those roots allowed you to become. Do not envy those who appear to have reached their destination before you. You do not know the tests hidden inside their blessings. You do not know their private struggles, fears, and responsibilities. Your journey is not late simply because it looks different. Allah does not write identical stories for every servant. Some people receive quickly and are tested through possession. Others wait and are tested through patience. Both are being examined. Your task is not to compete with another person's timeline. Your task is to remain faithful within your own. There is no peace in constantly asking why someone else has what you want. Comparison will make you blind to what Allah is currently building inside you. You may be so focused upon another person's visible blessing that you fail to recognize your own invisible growth. Perhaps you now pray with greater sincerity. Perhaps you have left sins you once considered impossible to leave. Perhaps you have become less dependent upon people. Perhaps your heart is softer toward the struggles of others. Perhaps you have learned to say no without feeling guilty. Perhaps you have finally understood that not every delay is rejection. These are not small blessings. A person can possess wealth, attention, and success while their heart remains empty. Another person may be walking through hardship while becoming rich in faith, wisdom, and closeness to Allah. Do not judge your entire life by what the eye can measure. Allah may be giving you something far greater than the thing you are currently asking for. You ask for the situation to change. Allah may be giving you a heart that cannot be destroyed by similar situations again. You ask for one person to return. Allah may be teaching you never to abandon yourself for another human being. You ask for immediate relief. Allah may be preparing a form of peace that remains even when life becomes difficult. Some answers are greater than the original dua. There are moments when Allah answers not by returning what you lost, but by removing your need for it. There are moments when He does not change another person's heart, but He changes your attachment to them. There are moments when He does not explain why something happened, but He places acceptance inside you so deeply that the explanation is no longer necessary. That acceptance is a form of freedom. You stop waking up every morning hoping for a message that may never come. You stop waiting for an apology to begin healing. You stop imagining how everything might have been different. You stop trying to prove your value to people committed to overlooking it. You begin living again, not because the past changed, but because Allah changed the way the past controls your heart. My beloved brothers and sisters, rebuilding also requires you to stop speaking to yourself with cruelty. Many people survive the harm of others, but continue harming themselves through their own thoughts. They repeat words such as, "I was foolish, I wasted my time, I should have known better, I ruined everything, I will never recover." Be careful with the language you use inside your mind. You made decisions with the understanding you had at the time. Perhaps you trusted too easily. Perhaps you ignored warning signs because you hoped for the best. Perhaps you stayed longer than you should have because you believed patience would change the situation. Learn from it, but do not turn the lesson into lifelong self-hatred. You cannot heal while continuously attacking the person Allah is trying to restore. Repent for what was wrong. Correct what can be corrected. Take responsibility where necessary. But once you have sincerely turned back to Allah, do not behave as though His mercy is too small for your mistake. Your sin is not greater than His forgiveness. Your failure is not greater than His ability to guide you. Your brokenness is not greater than His power to rebuild. Some people believe that because they have made serious mistakes, they no longer deserve a meaningful future. They assume that the best part of their life has already passed, or that Allah will forever punish them for what they did. This thinking can become another trap of shaitan. Shaitan first encourages sin, and then after the sin, he encourages despair. He wants you to believe that returning to Allah is pointless. But the believer understands that repentance is not merely feeling guilty. It is turning the guilt into movement toward Allah. Do not allow yesterday's mistake to become today's excuse for remaining far from Him. The person Allah rebuilds after repentance may become stronger, humbler, and more compassionate than the person who never believed they could fall. Your past can become a source of wisdom without becoming your permanent identity. You are not only the worst thing you have done, you are also the prayer you made afterward. You are the regret that softened your heart. You are the decision to change. You are the step you took back toward Allah. Rebuilding means allowing yourself to become new. Some people keep introducing themselves to life through their wounds. They say, I am the one who was abandoned. I am the one who was betrayed. I am the one whose marriage ended. I am the one whose dream failed. The event becomes their entire identity. But what happened to you is part of your story. It is not the whole of your identity. You are also a servant of Allah. You are someone capable of growth. You are someone whose future has not yet been revealed. You are someone who may still experience peace, love, success, and closeness to Allah beyond what you currently imagine. Do not allow one chapter to name the entire book. Allah is not finished with you. The fact that you are still breathing means there is still worship to offer, goodness to spread, knowledge to gain, people to help, and prayers to make. Your life still carries purpose, even when pain has temporarily hidden it from you. Sometimes purpose begins very simply. It begins with getting out of bed and praying. It begins with cleaning your space after weeks of neglect. It begins with eating properly, taking care of your body, and speaking to someone trustworthy. It begins with returning to responsibilities you abandoned while grieving. It begins with one small act of discipline. Do not wait to feel fully motivated. Action can sometimes lead the heart when the heart feels too tired to lead itself. You may not feel ready to rebuild, but begin with what is within your ability. Read one page, take one walk, make one phone call, pray one prayer with greater attention, remove one harmful habit. Allah places barakah in sincere beginnings. Do not mock small steps. A mountain is climbed through steps that appear insignificant when viewed individually. A life is rebuilt through decisions that may look ordinary. Choosing sleep over overthinking, choosing prayer over panic, choosing silence over another argument, choosing distance over another cycle of harm.
There will still be difficult days.
Healing is not a straight line. You may feel strong for a week and suddenly become overwhelmed by a memory. You may believe you have moved forward, then wake up one morning feeling as though the pain has returned completely. Do not panic. A difficult day does not erase your progress. The fact that you remember does not mean you have failed to heal. The fact that you still feel sadness does not mean you should return. Healing does not always mean forgetting. Sometimes it means remembering without being controlled. The memory remains, but it no longer determines your decisions. The wound exists, but it no longer bleeds every time its name is mentioned. You can look back without wanting to go back. That is healing. Be patient with the version of yourself that is learning this slowly. Allah did not demand that you become strong overnight. He asks you to continue returning to Him. When your heart becomes heavy, return. When your thoughts become dark, return. When loneliness becomes painful, return. When you feel ashamed of your weakness, return. Do not turn your weakness into distance from Allah. Use it as a reason to come closer. There is something powerful about a servant who continues worshipping while hurting. The prayer may not feel as beautiful as before. The concentration may be weak. The heart may feel numb. But the servant stands because they know Allah is still worthy of worship even when life is painful. That loyalty matters. You are telling Allah, I do not understand this chapter, but I will not walk away from you because of it. I am disappointed with what happened, but I am not disappointed in your mercy. I am tired, but I still know where to turn. This is faith during hardship. Do not believe that strong faith means never questioning, crying, or struggling. Strong faith means that even after the struggle, the heart returns to Allah. It may return slowly, it may return wounded, but it returns. And every return strengthens it. Perhaps you are now standing in the exact place where you once thought your story would end. You lost something important. Someone walked away, your confidence disappeared, and the future no longer looks the way you imagined. But look at you. You are still here. You may be tired, but you are still trying. You may be wounded, but you are still praying. You may not feel hopeful every moment, but something inside you has refused to completely surrender. That remaining spark is not meaningless. Protect it. Feed it with remembrance, prayer, honest dua, good company, and healthy action. Do not expose it constantly to people, places, and habits that darken your heart. A small flame can become a great light when it is protected. Allah can rebuild an entire life from one sincere moment of return. He rebuilt the lives of people after great mistakes. He opened paths after long periods of darkness. He gave purpose after loss, dignity after humiliation, and guidance after confusion. Why should you believe that your situation is beyond His power? The one who created your heart can repair it. The one who created time can change your circumstances within it. The one who created every door does not need the door that closed in order to bless you. Allah has more paths than you can imagine. Your mind may see only one solution, but Allah is not limited to what your mind can see. You may think relief can only arrive if a certain person returns, a certain opportunity reappears, or a specific plan succeeds. Allah may bring relief through a completely different direction. Do not tell Allah how He must rescue you. Ask Him to rescue you in the way that is best. Sometimes your insistence upon one form of relief keeps you from recognizing another. You ask Allah to change the situation, but He sends someone who helps you become stronger. You ask Him to remove the pain, but He sends knowledge that gives the pain meaning. You ask Him to return what you lost, but He gives you contentment without it. Remain open to Allah's answer. His mercy may arrive wearing a form you did not expect. A closed door can be mercy. Distance can be mercy. Exposure of someone's true character can be mercy. A period of loneliness can be mercy. Even exhaustion can become mercy when it finally forces you to stop living in a way that was destroying you. Not every mercy feels gentle at the beginning. Some mercy cuts the rope tied to the thing pulling you into darkness. You may cry because the rope was familiar, but Allah knows where it was taking you. Trust the rescue, even when it hurts. My beloved brothers and sisters, there may come a day when you look back at this season with completely different eyes. The pain that now feels unbearable may become evidence of Allah's protection. The loneliness may become the period in which you discovered yourself again. The closed door may become the reason you walk towards something much better. You may not thank Allah for the wrongdoing of people, because wrongdoing remains wrong, but you may thank Him for what He brought from it. You may say, that experience taught me never to abandon my prayer for someone. It taught me not to beg for love. It taught me to value peace. It taught me that my Lord was enough when everyone else disappeared. The trial becomes transformed by what Allah produces through it. This is how believers grow. They do not deny the pain. They do not pretend the wound never existed. They bring it to Allah and allow Him to turn it into wisdom, patience, compassion, and strength. What wounded them does not receive the final word. Allah does. So when you feel that you are breaking, ask whether Allah may actually be rebuilding you. When you feel that everything is being removed, Ask what stronger foundation He may be preparing. When you feel that your identity is disappearing, remember that perhaps you are finally discovering who you are without the approval of people. You are being taught to stand with Allah. Not arrogantly, not believing you need nobody. Islam teaches community, family, compassion, and mutual support. But your heart must understand that people are means. Allah is the source. People may support you, but Allah gives that support power. People may comfort you, but Allah places comfort in their words. People may leave, but Allah remains. When this truth settles inside you, relationships become healthier. You no longer demand that people become your entire world. You love them without worshipping their presence. You appreciate them without making them responsible for your complete happiness. You allow them to be human, knowing that your deepest dependence belongs only to Allah. This protects both your faith and your relationships. No human being can carry the weight of being everything to you. When you expect them to heal every wound, remove every fear, and constantly prove your worth, the relationship becomes burdened. But when your heart is anchored in Allah, you can love people without losing yourself inside them. Perhaps this is what Allah is rebuilding now, a heart that loves without desperation, gives without destroying itself, forgives without returning to repeated harm, and trusts without ignoring wisdom. That heart is stronger than the one that entered the trial. The pain may have taken your innocence, but do not allow it to take your goodness. It may have taught you that people can disappoint you, but let it also teach you that Allah can restore you. It may have shown you how cruel someone can be, but do not allow their behavior to determine your character. You do not heal by becoming like the person who harmed you. You heal by becoming wiser while remaining connected to Allah. There is great strength in remaining gentle after the world has given you reasons to become hard. But gentleness must be accompanied by boundaries. Kindness must be accompanied by discernment. Forgiveness must be accompanied by wisdom. Allah may be building balance inside you. Before the trial, perhaps you trusted everyone. After the trial, you may be tempted to trust nobody. Neither extreme is healthy. Wisdom is learning whom to trust, how much to share, and when to step back. You are not being rebuilt into someone cold. You are being rebuilt into someone clear. You will know that healing is occurring when you no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. When you stop arguing with people who have already decided to misunderstand you. When you stop chasing closure from people who are incapable of giving it. When you become more concerned with whether Allah is pleased with you than whether everyone approves of you. That peace is priceless. It does not come from winning every argument. It comes from knowing which arguments no longer deserve your energy. It does not come from making everyone see your value. It comes from knowing your value even when they do not. Allah may use this season to teach you where your energy belongs. Not every message requires a reply. Not every accusation requires a defense. Not every person deserves another chance. Not every closed door should be pushed open. Sometimes silence is not weakness. It is evidence that you have stopped giving your peace to every disturbance. But silence should not mean suppressing pain until it destroys you. Speak to Allah. Speak to trustworthy people. Seek qualified help when emotional pain becomes overwhelming. Faith and seeking support are not opposites. Allah can heal through dua, and He can also heal through people, knowledge, counseling, medical care, and practical changes. Every beneficial means remains under His control. Do not reject help because you believe a strong believer must suffer alone. Even the strongest people need support. There is no shame in saying, I am not coping well. There is no shame in needing rest. There is no shame in speaking to someone who can help you understand what is happening inside your heart. Seeking help may be one of the ways Allah is rebuilding you. You may have spent years caring for others while neglecting yourself. You listened to everyone's problems, carried everyone's burdens, and remained available even when you were emotionally empty. Then one day you realized that nobody knew how exhausted you had become. You cannot continue pouring from a heart that never receives care. Rest is not laziness when your body and mind are genuinely exhausted. Creating distance is not cruelty when constant access has become harmful. Saying no is not selfish when saying yes repeatedly destroys your ability to fulfill your greater responsibilities. Balance is part of wisdom. Your body has rights, your mind has rights, your family has rights, your worship has rights. You cannot give one person or one problem so much of yourself that every other responsibility begins to collapse. Allah may be rebuilding your priorities. He may be teaching you that being available to everyone is not the same as being righteous. Sometimes righteousness means knowing when helping someone enables their harmful behavior. Sometimes it means protecting your household from the chaos of outsiders. Sometimes it means refusing to carry what Allah never assigned to you. You are responsible for compassion, not for controlling every outcome. You cannot force people to change. You cannot heal someone who refuses help. You cannot make a person value you. You cannot carry another adult's choices forever. Release what was never yours to control. This release does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop behaving as though the entire world depends upon your ability to fix it. Allah is Allah. You are His servant. There is freedom in remembering this. You make effort, but you surrender the result. You advise, but guidance belongs to Allah. You love, but you understand that people have their own choices. You pray, but you do not demand that the answer arrive according to your exact plan. This is surrender without passivity. You continue doing what is right while releasing the illusion of control. Much of your pain may come from trying to control what cannot be controlled: another person's feelings, the timing of relief, people's opinions, the past, and the unseen future. The more tightly you grip these things, the more exhausted you become. Open your hands. Place them with Allah. Say, "O Allah, I have done what I can. I leave what I cannot change with you. Protect my heart from carrying responsibilities that belong only to you." That dua can become the beginning of deep peace. Your situation may not change immediately, but your relationship with it changes. You stop waking every morning feeling personally responsible for everything. You stop punishing yourself for outcomes beyond your power. You learn to live one day at a time. Today pray. Today make the right decision. Today care for your health. Today avoid returning to what harmed you. Today ask Allah for strength. Do not carry tomorrow's imagined pain on top of today's real burden. Many people are crushed not only by what is happening, but also by everything they fear may happen. They live through disasters in their minds that have not occurred. They lose sleep over conversations that may never take place and doors that may never close. Your mind is not the place where the future is written. Allah has already written what will reach you, and worrying cannot increase your protection. It can only steal the strength you need for the present moment. Whenever your thoughts race too far ahead, bring yourself back. Say, "Allah is with me today. Allah will be with me tomorrow." Whatever comes, His mercy will already be there. You do not need tomorrow's strength today. Allah gives strength according to the moment. When tomorrow comes, the help written for tomorrow will come with it. This is why you have survived things you once believed impossible. Before they happened, you could not imagine carrying them. Yet when the moment arrived, Allah gave you strength you did not know you possessed. Do not judge your ability to survive the future using only the strength you feel today. Allah can increase it. He can place calm into a heart that has known panic for years. He can give courage to someone who has always been afraid. He can give acceptance after long resistance. He can give a way out after every visible path appears closed. Nothing inside you is too broken for Allah to restore. You may say, "But I no longer recognize myself." Perhaps that is because the old version of you is no longer sufficient for where Allah is taking you. You are not meant to remain exactly as you were before the trial. Growth changes you. It changes what you tolerate, what you desire, what you prioritize, and whom you allow close. Some people will not understand the new version of you because they benefited from the old version. They preferred you when you never said no. They preferred you when you apologized even when you were not wrong. They preferred you when they could disappear and return without consequences. Your healing may inconvenience people who benefited from your wounds. Do not stop healing to keep them comfortable. A person who truly loves you will not demand that you remain broken in order for the relationship to continue. They will respect your boundaries, support your growth, and encourage your closeness to Allah. Those who only valued your lack of boundaries may call your growth pride. Let them misunderstand. Allah knows the difference between arrogance and self-respect. Arrogance says, I am better than others. Self-respect says, I will not accept repeated harm. Arrogance refuses correction. Self-respect accepts truth but refuses humiliation. Become humble before Allah and dignified before people. Do not beg anyone to give you what Allah has taught you to protect. You may still love people who are not safe for you. Love does not always disappear simply because wisdom says distance is necessary. This is one of the most difficult parts of healing. But you do not have to obey every emotion you feel. A feeling is real, but it is not always a command. You can miss someone and still not contact them. You can love them and still know the relationship is harmful. You can forgive them and still refuse to reopen the door. Maturity is the ability to feel deeply without allowing every feeling to control your decisions. Allah may be building that maturity inside you now. There may have been a time when emotions decided everything. When you felt lonely, you returned. When you felt angry, you spoke harshly. When you felt afraid, you accepted behavior that violated your dignity. Now you are learning to pause. You are learning to place the feeling before Allah before acting upon it. You are learning to ask, will this decision bring me closer to Allah or return me to the same pain? That pause can save your future. One impulsive decision can reopen months of healing. One moment of desperation can return you to a cycle Allah helped you escape. When the heart feels weak, do not make major decisions alone. Pray, wait, seek wise advice. Allow the emotional wave to pass. Not everything that feels urgent is truly urgent. Sometimes the heart creates urgency because it fears discomfort. It says, contact them now, fix it now, get the answer now. But peace often grows when you stop obeying that urgency. Allow unanswered questions to remain unanswered for a while. You do not need to solve your entire life tonight. Allah is rebuilding you through patience. And patience is not passive waiting. It is disciplined trust. It is choosing obedience while the answer is delayed. It is protecting your character while you are hurting. It is refusing to destroy tomorrow because today feels difficult. Patience is powerful because it prevents temporary emotions from creating permanent damage. You may not see the reward immediately, but no patient moment is lost with Allah. Every time you remained silent instead of speaking cruelly, Allah knew. Every time you walked away from temptation, Allah knew. Every time you cried but still prayed, Allah knew. Every time you felt like giving up but decided to continue one more day, Allah knew. The world may never applaud those moments, but Allah records what people never see. Your unseen struggle may be the reason for an unseen elevation. Do not believe that only public acts matter. Some of the greatest worship happens privately, resisting revenge, controlling anger, forgiving without receiving an apology, and trusting Allah while the heart is confused. These are acts of faith. Perhaps the pain has made you feel spiritually inadequate because you do not worship with the same energy as before. But Allah knows the effort behind each act. A prayer offered while you are emotionally exhausted may require more struggle than many prayers offered during ease. Allah does not compare your weakest day to someone else's strongest day. He knows your capacity, your condition, and your sincerity. Continue doing what you can. Do not abandon everything because you cannot perform perfectly. Read a little, pray with the concentration you can manage, make a simple dua. Consistency in small acts can become the rope that pulls you out of darkness. Do not wait for motivation to return before returning to Allah. Return, and motivation may follow. The heart often becomes alive through action. The Quran may initially feel difficult to open, but one verse can soften something within you. Sajda may feel heavy, but one honest moment on the ground can release what you have carried for weeks. Begin before you feel ready. Allah can meet you in the movement. You may feel that your life has stopped, but Allah's plan has not stopped. There are things being arranged beyond your sight. People are being moved. Opportunities are being prepared. Lessons are being completed. Your own heart is being strengthened. The unseen is not empty. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean there is no movement. Night appears still, yet dawn is approaching. The seed beneath the soil appears lifeless, yet roots are spreading. A wound appears unchanged, yet the body is repairing it beneath the surface. Your life may be changing in places your eyes cannot yet observe. Do not dig up the seed every day to check whether it is growing. Trust the process Allah has written. Continue watering it with dua, worship, effort, and patience. There will come a day when what was hidden becomes visible. You will notice that you no longer react the same way. You will notice that you no longer react the same way. You will notice that you no longer react the same way. You will wake up and understand that an entire night passed without the old pain filling your mind. Healing may arrive so quietly that you only recognize it afterward. One day you will laugh and realize the laughter was genuine. One day you will speak about the experience and your voice will no longer shake. One day you will pass the place connected to the memory and feel gratitude rather than grief. That day will come by Allah's permission. Do not give up before it arrives. You have already walked through too much darkness to turn back before the morning. You have already endured the removal, the loneliness, the confusion, and the rebuilding. Continue. Perhaps the reason Shaitan intensifies hopelessness now is because he knows how dangerous you will become once you understand that pain cannot separate you from Allah. A believer who has survived hardship and remained connected to Allah carries a different kind of strength. They are no longer easily controlled by fear of loss. They know that Allah can replace. They are no longer destroyed by rejection. They know that people do not determine their worth. They are no longer terrified of walking alone. They know that Allah's company is enough to carry them until the right people arrive. That believer becomes difficult to manipulate. They can love without losing themselves. They can give without needing applause. They can walk away without hatred. They can wait without assuming they have been forgotten. Perhaps that is the person Allah is creating through this trial. You asked Allah for strength, but strength is often built through situations that require it. You asked for patience, but patience grows through waiting. You asked for wisdom, but wisdom often comes through mistakes, disappointment, and reflection. The answer to your dua may be hidden inside the training. Do not reject the process while asking for the result. At the same time, do not romanticize pain. Pain itself is not always good. Oppression is not good. Betrayal is not good. Abuse is not good. But Allah is capable of bringing good from what people intended for harm. Their wrongdoing does not control the ending. Allah does. They may have damaged your trust, but Allah can teach you wise trust. They may have taken your peace, but Allah can give you a deeper peace that no person controls. They may have tried to make you feel worthless, but Allah can rebuild your dignity from within. The final outcome belongs to Him. Do not hand your future to the person who harmed your past. They have already taken enough of your time, thoughts, and tears. Do not allow them to take the life Allah is still offering you. There is more ahead. There are prayers you have not yet made, people you have not yet met, places you have not yet seen, and forms of peace you have not yet experienced. Do not declare life empty because one part of it became painful. Allah's treasures are not exhausted. The one who gave you one beautiful chapter can give you another. The one who allowed one door to close can open 10 others. The one who removed one person can surround you with people whose presence brings respect, sincerity, and barakah. Do not limit Allah to what you lost. Sometimes we grieve as though that person, opportunity, or plan was the final source of goodness available to us. But Allah is Al-Wahhab, the bestower. He gives without limit and creates ways where none existed. Your future does not depend upon the return of what left. It depends upon Allah. Let that truth enter deeply into your heart. You do not need everyone to stay in order to survive. You do not need every plan to succeed in order to have a meaningful life. You do not need the past to be rewritten in order for the future to become beautiful. Allah can begin from where you are. He does not need perfect conditions. He can take a heart full of regret and fill it with purpose. He can take a person who feels forgotten and make their story a source of hope for others. He can take years that appear wasted and use their lessons to protect the decades ahead. Nothing is wasted when it is placed with Allah. Even your pain can become worship when you carry it with patience. Your tears can become dua. Your loneliness can become private closeness with Allah. Your waiting can become trust. The same experience can either harden you or guide you, depending upon where you take it. Take it to Allah. Do not take every wound to social media. Do not expose every private struggle to people who may turn your pain into entertainment. Choose carefully whom you trust. Some matters become lighter when shared with wise people, but not every person is wise. Protect your story while seeking the support you need. There is dignity in privacy, but there is danger in complete isolation. Find the balance. Speak where speaking brings healing. Remain silent where speaking brings unnecessary exposure. Ask Allah to guide you toward people who will protect your vulnerability rather than exploit it. Good company is part of rebuilding. Stay close to people who remind you of Allah, encourage healthy decisions, and speak truth with compassion. Distance yourself from those who constantly reopen your wounds, normalize sin, or encourage revenge. Your environment influences your healing. A heart trying to recover cannot remain surrounded by voices that feed bitterness. Choose reminders that give hope without denying reality. Choose people who allow you to grieve, but also encourage you to rise. Choose conversations that lead toward action, prayer, and wisdom. You do not need people who merely agree with every emotion. You need people who care enough to guide you toward what is right. Sometimes a sincere friend will tell you not to return. Sometimes they will remind you that you are repeating a destructive pattern. Sometimes they will say that you need professional help, rest, or stronger boundaries. Do not reject every difficult truth as lack of compassion. Some truths are part of Allah's rescue. Your pain may make you sensitive to correction, but remain open. The goal is not only to feel comforted, the goal is to become healthier, wiser, and closer to Allah. Rebuilding requires truth. You must be willing to admit where another person harmed you, but also where you harmed yourself. Perhaps you ignored clear signs. Perhaps you placed someone above your principles. Perhaps you remained in a harmful situation because you feared loneliness. Acknowledging these things is not blaming yourself for another person's wrongdoing. It is reclaiming the power to make different choices. You cannot change what they did, but you can change what access they receive now. You cannot change the past, but you can learn from it. You cannot force an apology, but you can stop waiting for one. Responsibility is not shame. It is freedom. When you recognize your choices, you also recognize your ability to choose differently. You are no longer only a victim of what happened. You become an active participant in your healing. Allah gave you the ability to make the next decision. Use it well. The next decision may be to stop checking their page. It may be to delete an old conversation. It may be to speak with a counselor. It may be to return to prayer, repair your sleep, or focus on your work. Healing is often hidden inside ordinary decisions, repeated consistently. You do not need a dramatic sign every day. Sometimes the sign is the clarity Allah has already placed inside you. You know the connection was harmful. You know the habit is destroying your peace. You know the environment is weakening your faith. Stop demanding another sign because you are afraid to act upon the one you already received. Clarity becomes useless when constantly ignored. Ask Allah for courage, then move. Faith includes trust, but it also includes action. You cannot ask Allah to heal your heart while constantly returning to what wounds it. You cannot ask Him for peace while feeding every thought that creates chaos. Participate in the dua you are making. If you ask Allah for strength, practice boundaries. If you ask for guidance, follow the truth when it appears. If you ask for a new beginning, stop reopening the old ending. Allah's help often meets you after the first sincere step. You may fear that moving forward means the past never mattered. It did matter. The love, effort, and time were real, but honoring what was real does not require remaining trapped by it. A chapter can be meaningful and still need to end. Some people enter your life to stay, others enter to teach. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Do not measure the value of an experience only by whether it lasted forever. It may have revealed your weaknesses, clarified your needs, and directed you back to Allah. The ending does not erase every lesson. Carry the wisdom, not the wound. Carry the boundary, not the bitterness. Carry the faith, not the fear. This is how Allah transforms pain into preparation. One day, when a similar situation appears, you will respond differently. You will notice the warning signs earlier. You will protect your prayer. You will not abandon your dignity. You will not ignore your intuition merely because you are afraid to be alone. The old pain will have taught you a new wisdom, and that wisdom may save you from a much greater wound. Perhaps this trial is not delaying your future, it is protecting it. Without this lesson, you might have repeated the same pattern for years. You might have carried the same insecurity into marriage, family, work, and worship. Allah may be stopping the cycle now. Breaking cycles is painful because familiar patterns feel normal even when they are unhealthy. But someone must decide that the pain will not continue into the next chapter. Let it be you. Decide that you will not pass untreated wounds to innocent people. Decide that you will not allow one betrayal to make you suspicious of everyone. Decide that you will not use your pain as permission to harm others. Heal so that those who did not wound you do not have to pay for what someone else did. This is responsibility. Your future spouse, children, friends, and community deserve the healed version of you, not because you must become perfect, but because you are willing to face what happened honestly. Allah may be rebuilding you not only for yourself, but also for the people who will one day benefit from your wisdom, patience, and compassion. Your struggle can become service. The words you once needed may one day be the words you give to someone else. The support you wished you had may become the support you offer. The loneliness you survived may make you notice those whom others overlook. Pain can deepen mercy, but mercy toward others must not exclude mercy toward yourself. Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you love. You would not tell a wounded person that they are useless because healing is slow. You would not insult them for having a difficult day. Give yourself that same compassion. Allah is patient with your growth. Learn to be patient too. There will be setbacks, but setbacks are not endings. When you fall, return. When you contact someone you should not have contacted, recognize it, correct it, and begin again. When you miss a prayer, repent and protect the next one. Do not allow one mistake to become an excuse for complete surrender. Shaitan loves all or nothing thinking. He tells you that because you slipped once, all progress is gone. That is false. One wrong step does not erase the distance already traveled. Correct your direction and continue. Allah loves those who return repeatedly. Your rebuilding does not depend upon never falling. It depends upon refusing to remain down. Perhaps you are embarrassed by how many times you have returned to the same pain. Do not let embarrassment stop you from seeking Allah again. His door is not like the doors of people. People may become tired of your mistakes. Allah invites sincere repentance again and again. Come back honestly. Say, "Oh Allah, I knew better, but I became weak. Forgive me, strengthen me, and do not leave me to my own desires." That humility can become stronger than prideful confidence. The person who knows their weakness often depends upon Allah more deeply than the person who believes they cannot fall. This awareness protects you. Do not trust your willpower alone. Change your environment, remove access, create structure, seek accountability. Tawakkul does not mean ignoring practical measures. You lock the door and trust Allah. In the same way, block the harmful path and trust Allah to heal the attachment. Avoid places that trigger the cycle. Replace unhealthy routines. Faith and practical wisdom work together. Perhaps you have been asking Allah for rescue while leaving every entrance to the old pain open. Close what must be closed. You may feel guilty because the person calls your boundary cruelty, but a boundary is not cruelty when it protects you from repeated harm. You are not responsible for how someone feels about losing access they repeatedly misused. Be respectful, but be firm. Not every decision needs anger. Sometimes the strongest departure is quiet. No insults, no public exposure, no revenge. You simply choose peace and leave the matter with Allah. This restraint is a sign of rebuilding. The old version of you may have wanted to prove everything. The new version understands that Allah knows the truth. You do not need to destroy your own character to expose someone else's. Let Allah handle what you cannot. Justice does not require you to become unjust. Someone may have lied about you, misunderstood you, or made you appear wrong. Defend yourself appropriately when necessary, but do not allow the situation to consume your entire life. Allah can reveal truth without your constant intervention. The more you chase every opinion, the more control people have over your peace. Not everyone will understand you. Even sincere actions can be misinterpreted. Accept that some people may leave with the wrong story. Allah knows the complete story. Live in a way that keeps your conscience clear before Him. There is a deep peace in knowing that even when people misunderstand your silence, Allah understands your intention. Even when they do not see your effort, Allah sees it. That is enough to continue. My beloved brothers and sisters, Allah is rebuilding you in hidden ways. He is teaching you to become less reactive, more prayerful, less desperate, and more discerning. Do not despise this slow work. A strong heart is not created in one motivational moment. It is created through repeated choices made while nobody is watching. Every morning you rise despite heaviness, something is being built. Every prayer you protect, something is being built. Every temptation you resist, something is being built. You may not feel transformed, but transformation is happening. One day the test that once made you panic will appear again in another form, and you will notice that your response has changed. You will not beg, you will not chase, you will not abandon your values. You will say, I have seen this pattern before, and Allah taught me better. That is when you will realize the pain did not merely hurt you, it educated you. It trained you to protect your heart without closing it, to trust Allah without demanding immediate answers, and to love people without making them your God. These are precious lessons. Do not allow anger to make you forget them. If you remain bitter, the person who harmed you continues living inside your heart without permission. Forgiveness becomes a way of evicting them. Forgiveness does not declare the action acceptable. It declares that you will no longer allow the action to poison your present. Release the desire to see them suffer. Allah is the most just. You may never witness how He deals with them, and you do not need to. Your responsibility is to protect your own record. Do not create new sins while grieving someone else's sin. Walk away cleanly. Ask Allah to purify your heart, because bitterness can quietly damage the person carrying it more than the person toward whom it is directed. Healing is not complete when the person leaves your life. It deepens when hatred leaves your heart. You may remember without hatred. You may maintain boundaries without revenge. This balance is possible with Allah's help. Pray, O Allah, remove the harm from my life and remove the hatred from my heart. Give me justice in the way you know best, and do not allow this experience to corrupt my character. That is a powerful dua. You are asking Allah not only to save you from people, but also to save you from becoming someone you do not want to be. The greatest victory is not merely that you survived what happened, it is that you survived without losing your faith, compassion, and dignity. You may have scars, but scars are not evidence of failure. They are evidence that the wound closed. Do not be ashamed of what you survived. You do not owe everyone the details, but you also do not need to live as though the experience made you less worthy. Broken things can be restored beautifully. Sometimes the repaired place becomes stronger than before because it has been reinforced. Your heart may never return to its old innocence, but it can gain wisdom, depth, and stronger reliance upon Allah. That is not a lesser heart. It is a matured heart. It knows that people can leave, yet life continues. It knows that a door can close, yet Allah remains generous. It knows that pain can return, yet Allah can give strength again. This knowledge creates courage. You stop fearing the future as much because you have evidence from your past that Allah carried you. You say, I do not know what tomorrow contains, but I know who controls tomorrow. I do not know which doors will close, but I know Allah can open others. This is not empty optimism. It is faith built upon survival. Every hardship you survived becomes evidence that Allah did not abandon you. Even when you felt alone, He gave you enough strength for the next breath, the next prayer, and the next day. Perhaps you wanted Him to remove the mountain, but He gave you the ability to climb it. Do not overlook the miracle of the strength you were given. You may still be asking why the mountain was there, but one day you may understand that reaching the top allowed you to see life differently. The journey changed your perspective. Things that once seemed important may no longer control you. People's approval may feel smaller. Temporary loss may no longer look like the end. You have seen Allah carry you through worse. This does not make you fearless, it makes you anchored. Fear may still visit, but it no longer owns the house. Allah owns the house. Let Him rebuild every room. Give Him the room of your memories, where old conversations still echo. Give Him the room of your future, where anxiety creates imagined disasters. Give Him the room of your self-worth, where people's words left marks. Do not keep locked rooms inside your heart. Speak to Allah about everything. Tell Him what you are embarrassed to admit. Tell Him that you still miss what hurt you. Tell Him that you are angry, afraid, and confused. He already knows, but your honesty opens the heart to healing. Dua is not informing Allah of something unknown. It is acknowledging that you need Him. When you speak honestly, you stop fighting the truth inside yourself. You may realize that beneath your anger is grief, beneath your jealousy is fear, and beneath your attachment is loneliness. Once you identify the deeper wound, you can bring the correct request to Allah. You may not need that person back. You may need security. You may not need that exact opportunity. You may need purpose. Ask for the deeper need. O Allah, give me belonging without disobedience. Give me love that strengthens my faith. Give me success that does not corrupt my heart. Give me peace that no human being controls. These du'as free you from narrow expectations. You allow Allah to answer through any door He chooses. Your vision is limited. His generosity is not. Do not imprison your dua inside one specific outcome. Ask with hope, but surrender with trust. Say, O Allah, this is what I desire, but you know what I need. Grant it if it is good, remove it if it is harmful, and make my heart pleased with your decision. That is mature faith. It does not mean you have no desire. It means your desire does not become greater than your trust. You may still cry when Allah chooses differently. Acceptance can coexist with grief. You can say, "Oh Allah, this hurts, but I trust you." Those words carry great weight. They are not spoken by someone who feels nothing. They are spoken by someone who feels deeply but still chooses Allah. This choice is rebuilding you. Each time you choose trust over despair, your spiritual muscles strengthen. Each time you choose obedience over temporary comfort, your heart becomes freer. You are becoming the person who can carry future blessings with gratitude instead of fear. Perhaps Allah is preparing you for a responsibility that requires this depth. Perhaps the people you will help need someone who understands silent pain from experience. Your healing may have a purpose beyond you, but do not rush to serve others before caring for your own wounds. Some people use helping as a way to avoid healing. Serve, but also rest. Give, but also receive support. Allah did not ask you to disappear inside the needs of everyone else. You are also one of His servants deserving care. Treat your own soul as an amana. Feed it with worship, truth, healthy relationships, and rest. Protect it from what repeatedly harms it. You would not repeatedly place a valuable object in unsafe hands. Why do that with your heart? Your heart has a greater purpose than constantly recovering from the same person. It was created to know Allah, love goodness, and carry faith. Do not allow one human relationship to occupy every corner of it. Make space for Quran, gratitude, family, service, learning, and dreams. Your life is larger than your wound. Pain narrows vision. It makes one problem feel like the entire world. Rebuilding expands your vision again. You begin noticing the blessings that remained. You may have lost one person, but not every person. One door closed, but you still have abilities, time, and opportunities. Your heart is hurt, but it still recognizes Allah. Count what remains. Gratitude does not deny pain. It prevents pain from denying every blessing. You can be sad about what happened and grateful for what remains. Both feelings can exist together. Say, "Oh Allah, this part of my life hurts, but I thank you for the part still holding me." That gratitude becomes light. It reminds you that the darkness is not complete. Even on your worst day, there may be one mercy, a breath, a prayer, a meal, a safe place, or a person who cares. Look for the small mercies. They are signs that Allah has not left you. Sometimes we demand one enormous sign while ignoring the daily ways He sustains us. The heart continues beating, the sun rises, a verse reaches you at the right moment. These things may appear ordinary, but to the wounded heart they can become messages of support. Train yourself to notice. Rebuilding is not only removing pain, it is relearning how to recognize goodness. Pain may have trained you to search constantly for danger. Now teach your heart that not every moment contains a threat. You may be safe now even though your body remains tense. You may be free even though your mind still expects the old pattern. Healing includes teaching yourself that the danger has passed. Breathe, slow down, ground yourself in the present. You are not in yesterday. Do not allow old fear to control new moments. Someone new is not automatically the person who hurt you. A new opportunity is not automatically the old failure. Give the future a fair chance while maintaining wisdom. Do not confuse protection with permanent emotional imprisonment. Boundaries should create freedom, not build a prison around your entire heart. Allah may send good people, but you must be healed enough to recognize them. Sometimes wounded people reject healthy love because chaos feels more familiar, calmness feels suspicious, consistency feels strange. This is why inner rebuilding matters. You must learn that peace is not boring and respect is not weakness. The right connections will not require constant anxiety to feel meaningful. Ask Allah to make your heart comfortable with what is healthy. Do not chase intensity when Allah is offering stability. Some people call emotional chaos love because it creates powerful feelings. But real love is not measured only by how strongly you feel. It is measured by respect, honesty, responsibility, and whether the connection brings you closer to Allah. You deserve relationships where words and actions agree. Do not lower this standard because loneliness becomes loud. Loneliness is uncomfortable, but the wrong company can create a deeper loneliness while someone is sitting beside you. It is better to walk alone temporarily than to feel abandoned inside a relationship. Use the lonely season. Do not waste it only grieving what left. Learn, worship, grow, and prepare. Allah may be giving you time to become the person you need to be before the next chapter begins. Loneliness can become a workshop of the soul. In silence, you discover what you truly believe. Without constant distraction, hidden wounds appear. This can be painful, but it is valuable. Meet yourself honestly. Ask, why did I accept so little? Why was I afraid to leave? Why did I depend so strongly upon someone's approval? Do not ask these questions to shame yourself. Ask them to understand. Understanding breaks cycles. Perhaps you learned early in life that love must be earned through overgiving. Perhaps you became afraid of abandonment and therefore accepted disrespect. These patterns can be changed. Bring them to Allah and seek support. You are not doomed to repeat everything you learned. With awareness, guidance, and effort, you can build healthier ways of relating. This is part of the rebuilding Allah may be inviting you toward. The trial exposed the wound. Now you have the opportunity to treat it. Do not cover it again simply because treatment feels difficult. Healing work is often uncomfortable, but unresolved wounds continue speaking through your choices. They choose whom you trust, what you tolerate, and how you react. Take responsibility for healing before the wound chooses another painful chapter. Allah's guidance can enter through self-reflection. Islam does not ask you to live without examining your heart. The heart must be purified, understood, and guarded. Pay attention to your patterns. What repeatedly pulls you away from peace? What makes you abandon your values? What type of person do you repeatedly chase? There may be a lesson in the repetition. Do not only pray for different people, pray to become someone who chooses differently. Sometimes the environment changes, but the same internal wound selects the same pattern in a new form. Ask Allah for basira, clear insight. Ask Him to show you what your emotions hide. O Allah, let me see people as they are, not only as I hope they will become. This dua can protect years of your life. Hope is beautiful, but hope without evidence can become self-deception. Believe in people's ability to change, but judge access by consistent actions. Promises are easy, patterns reveal truth. Do not build your future upon words unsupported by behavior. Allah may be rebuilding your ability to discern. You will no longer be impressed only by charm. You will look for character. You will not be satisfied by occasional kindness surrounded by repeated harm. You will ask whether the person fears Allah when nobody is watching. This wisdom is worth the pain that taught it, even though you would never choose the pain itself. Carry the lesson forward. Do not return to innocence without wisdom. Become hopeful, but not careless. Become forgiving, but not easily manipulated. Become loving, but not desperate. This balance is strength. You may feel that the trial has made you older inside. Perhaps it has. Some experiences mature the soul quickly, but do not allow maturity to become constant seriousness. You are still allowed to laugh, enjoy life, and hope. Healing is not betrayal of what happened. Sometimes people feel guilty when happiness returns. They think smiling means the pain was not real. It was real, but you are allowed to live beyond it. Your recovery does not dishonor your loss. It honors the strength Allah gave you. Smile when you can. Enjoy halal blessings. Reconnect with the parts of life you neglected. The person or situation already took enough. Do not give it every future moment as well. You are permitted to begin again. A new beginning does not need everyone's permission. It may begin quietly with a new routine, a different mindset, or a stronger prayer. Nobody may notice at first, but Allah notices every sincere step. Do not seek applause for healing. Protect it from unnecessary exposure. Some growth becomes stronger in privacy. Let people notice the fruit later without explaining every root. The strongest changes often happen silently. One day they will see that you no longer react, chase, or beg in the same way. They may ask what changed. Allah changed your heart. The trial taught you that your silent pain was never ignored. It reached Allah, and His response was not always to immediately remove the situation. Sometimes His response was to rebuild you so completely that the situation could no longer destroy you. That may be the greater miracle. A changed circumstance can bring temporary ease, but a rebuilt heart can carry you through many future storms. Allah is not only solving one problem, He may be preparing you for life. That is why the process takes time. Deep foundations are not built overnight. Be patient. Do not compare your healing to someone else's. One person moves on quickly, another needs more time. Allah knows your heart. Take the time required, but do not turn time into stagnation. Rest, but keep moving. Cry, but keep praying. Grieve, but remain open to life. You do not need to run. One step toward Allah is enough for today. Tomorrow, take another. 1,000 small steps eventually create distance from what once controlled you. One day you will look back and be amazed at how far Allah brought you. You may not recognize the person who once begged to remain in places that did not value them. You will feel compassion for that version of yourself, not shame. They were trying to find love and safety. Now you know that true safety begins with Allah. Thank the old version of you for surviving, then allow them to rest. You no longer need to carry every old fear. Your future deserves a heart that is present. Do not enter new blessings while constantly staring backward. When Allah opens the next door, walk through it with gratitude. Do not punish new people for old people's actions. Do not expect every blessing to disappear because previous ones did. Trust carefully, but do not live in permanent suspicion. Allah can send what is good. Believe that. Not every story ends in betrayal. Not every opportunity closes. Not every person leaves. The past is a teacher, not a prophecy. Your future is still with Allah, and Allah's mercy is greater than what happened. My beloved brothers and sisters, when the pain becomes loud, remind yourself that you are not being abandoned. You may be under construction. The noise, dust, and removal feel chaotic, but something stronger is being built. Do not judge the final structure while the work is still incomplete. Allah sees the finished version. He knows the faith, wisdom, and peace that may emerge from this chapter. Trust the builder. He does not make mistakes with the hearts of His servants. People may have handled your heart carelessly, but Allah never will. He knows exactly where it broke and how to restore it. Stay close to Him during the rebuilding. Do not run back to the rubble simply because construction feels uncomfortable. Remain patient until Allah shows you what He was creating. Perhaps the person you are becoming will be more valuable than everything you thought you lost. Perhaps the trial will produce a faith that ease never could. Perhaps your silent pain has already reached Allah, and the answer is appearing within you before it appears around you. You are becoming calmer, clearer, wiser, and less dependent upon people's approval. Do not give up now. You may be closer to a breakthrough than your emotions allow you to believe. The darkest part of the night does not mean morning has been cancelled. It means morning is approaching. Hold on to Allah. Let Him finish what this trial began. The place where you almost gave up may one day become the place where you tell others, Allah rebuilt me here. And when you finally see what He created from your broken pieces, you may understand that you were never being destroyed. You were being prepared. Do not give up one step before Allah sends relief. لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes the most dangerous moment in a believer's journey is not when the hardship begins, because at the beginning you may still have energy, courage, and hope that everything will improve quickly. The most dangerous moment comes after you have been waiting for a long time, after you have made the same dua repeatedly, after you have tried to remain patient while nothing around you appears to be changing, because this is the moment when exhaustion begins speaking more loudly than faith, and the heart quietly asks whether continuing is still worth it. You may have reached a point where you are no longer asking for a perfect life. You are simply asking Allah for enough strength to survive the life you currently have. You are not asking for every problem to disappear overnight. You are only asking for one sign that your prayers have not been forgotten, one opening that proves the closed doors were not the end, and one moment of peace after carrying a burden that nobody around you completely understands. Perhaps you have prayed until you no longer know what else to say. You have cried until the tears no longer come as easily. You have encouraged yourself with every reminder you know. Yet there are still nights when hopelessness enters quietly and tells you that perhaps nothing will ever change. Listen carefully. Do not allow the length of your trial to make you doubt the nearness of your relief. A long night does not mean morning has been cancelled. A seed remaining beneath the soil does not mean it is dead. A door remaining closed today does not mean Allah has written that it will remain closed forever. You are judging your story from the page currently hurting you, while Allah knows every chapter that is still to come. You do not know what Allah may change tomorrow. You do not know which dua may be answered after your next prayer. You do not know which conversation may open a new path, which opportunity may appear unexpectedly, which person may enter your life, or which realization may finally free your heart from something that has controlled it for years. You do not know how quickly Allah can transform a situation that seemed impossible only moments earlier. Allah does not require a long time to change your circumstances. He only requires that the time He has chosen arrives. The same situation that has remained unchanged for months can change within one day. The person who felt completely lost can suddenly receive clarity. The heart that believed it would never heal can slowly discover that the pain no longer has the same power. The door that no human being could open can be opened by Allah in a manner nobody expected. Your responsibility is not to know exactly when relief will arrive. Your responsibility is to remain connected to Allah until it does. This is where many people become weak. They worship faithfully while the answer feels close, but when the waiting becomes long, they begin withdrawing from Allah. Their prayer becomes careless, their dua becomes rare. Their sins increase because they seek relief through temporary distractions. They believe that because Allah has not yet changed the situation, there is no benefit in continuing to obey Him. But my beloved brothers and sisters, never punish your relationship with Allah because life did not happen according to your desired timeline. Allah is not only worthy of worship when He gives you what you ask for. He is worthy of worship because He is your creator, your sustainer, your protector, and the one to whom you will ultimately return. Your worship is not a transaction in which you pray today and demand your desired result tomorrow. Your worship is the expression of a heart that knows that even when Allah's plan is painful, no plan could ever be wiser than His. Real faith is not only saying, Allah is good, after receiving the blessing. Real faith is saying, Allah is still good, while standing before a door that has not yet opened. Real trust is not only thanking Allah when you understand the reason. Real trust is continuing to obey Him while the reason remains hidden. Perhaps your relief is being delayed because Allah is protecting you from receiving it before you are ready. Perhaps the blessing you are asking for requires a version of you that is more patient, disciplined, humble, and spiritually grounded than you are today. If Allah gave you the blessing without preparing your heart, the blessing itself might become a source of arrogance, dependence, or destruction. You are asking Allah for the destination, while Allah is preparing you to survive what comes with reaching it. You ask for marriage, but Allah may be teaching you emotional maturity, so you do not carry untreated wounds into another person's life. You ask for success, but Allah may be teaching you humility, so achievement does not distance you from Him. You ask for wealth, but Allah may be teaching you contentment, so money becomes a tool in your hands rather than an idol inside your heart. You ask for relief, but Allah may be building strength so that when the next storm arrives, you will no longer collapse in the same way. Preparation is also an answer. Do not assume that nothing is happening simply because the final result has not appeared. Something may already be happening inside you. Your prayer may be becoming more sincere. Your dependence upon people may be weakening. Your understanding of yourself may be becoming clearer. Your boundaries may be strengthening. Your heart may be learning to seek Allah before seeking the approval of creation. These changes may not look like the answer you requested, but they may be the foundation beneath it. Sometimes Allah answers the dua by changing the situation. Sometimes He answers it by changing you so completely that the situation no longer controls you. The circumstance may remain, but your fear decreases. The person may never apologize, but your need for the apology disappears. The door may remain closed, but your heart finally accepts that Allah has another direction. Do not underestimate the miracle of inner relief. People often wait for something outside them to change before they believe Allah has answered, yet one of the greatest forms of relief is when Allah places peace inside you while the world around you remains uncertain. You wake up one morning and realize you are no longer begging for what once consumed your entire mind. You remember what happened, but the memory no longer destroys your day. You still have unanswered questions, but you are no longer losing sleep demanding answers from people who cannot give them. You still feel sadness, but the sadness no longer pushes you toward despair. You still walk through difficulty, but something inside you has become stronger than the difficulty itself. That is Allah rebuilding you. You may believe you are waiting for the relief, but perhaps the relief has already begun quietly inside your heart. Do not measure healing only by whether you have completely forgotten. Some wounds are not erased from memory because their lessons must remain. Healing means you can remember without returning, speak about it without breaking, and recognize the lesson without reliving the wound. The past remains part of your story, but it no longer controls the person you are becoming. My beloved brothers and sisters, do not give up because today feels heavy. Today is not the whole of your life. The feeling you have tonight is not a prophecy of how you will feel forever. Emotions change. Circumstances change. People change, doors open, opportunities arrive, hearts recover. Allah creates new beginnings from places where people see only endings. You may be standing in the ruins of something you once prayed would last forever, but Allah does not need the old structure in order to build something new. He can begin with the broken pieces. He can begin with your confusion, regret, weakness, and tears. Allah does not need you to arrive before Him completely healed. He asks you to come as you are and allow Him to guide the healing. Come to Allah with the heart that is still hurting. Come with the questions you are afraid to say aloud. Come with the weakness you hide from everyone else. Come with the mistakes that make you feel ashamed. Come with the attachment you still struggle to release. Do not wait until you become perfect to return to the one who alone can help you change. Sometimes people remain distant from Allah because they think their pain has made them spiritually unworthy. They have neglected prayers, fallen into sins, or made choices they regret, and now they assume Allah no longer wants to hear from them. But this is exactly what Shaitan wants you to believe. Shaitan knows that if you sincerely return to Allah, your worst chapter can become the beginning of your strongest faith. He knows that the person who has tasted distance may return with greater sincerity than before. So he tells you that you have gone too far, failed too many times, and damaged too much. Do not believe him. As long as you are alive, the door of sincere repentance remains open. As long as your heart can feel regret, it has not completely died. As long as you can whisper the name of Allah, you have a path back. Allah did not keep you alive until this moment so that you could declare yourself beyond His mercy. Return. Even if you returned yesterday and fell again today, return. Even if your voice shakes from shame, return. Even if you do not know how to repair everything, begin by turning your face toward Allah. The believer is not the person who never falls. The believer is the person who refuses to make the ground their permanent home. Every fall can teach humility. Every sincere return can deepen your dependence upon Allah. Every mistake can become a door to repentance when you refuse to allow shame to turn into despair. My beloved brothers and sisters, perhaps you are exhausted because you have been trying to carry tomorrow before it arrives. You are not only suffering from what is happening today, you are suffering from every painful possibility your mind has imagined for the future. You ask yourself what will happen if the situation never changes, if the person never returns, if the opportunity never comes, or if the pain remains for years. But who told you that the future will unfold according to your fears? Your fear is not revelation. Your anxiety is not knowledge of the unseen. Your mind can imagine 1,000 disasters, but Allah can write an outcome you never considered. Stop treating every fearful thought as a fact. You do not know tomorrow, but you know the one who controls it. You do not know how the problem will be solved, but you know that Allah is not limited to the solutions you can imagine. You do not know which doors will remain closed, but you know that the creator of every door does not depend upon any one of them. Allah can provide through a path you never noticed. He can place support in the heart of someone you never expected. He can protect you through a delay you currently dislike. He can redirect you toward a future that makes the original plan look small. He can answer your dua through removal, replacement, transformation, or contentment. Do not tell Allah that relief can only arrive in one particular form. Sometimes we are not only asking for relief, we are demanding that Allah deliver it through the exact person, path, and timing we have chosen. Then, when He sends another form of mercy, we fail to recognize it because it does not resemble our expectation. Remain open to Allah's answer. You may be asking for someone to return while Allah is trying to free your heart from needing them. You may be asking for one door to open while Allah is guiding you toward another. You may be asking for the situation to become easier while Allah is making you stronger. Do not reject a greater answer because you are attached to a smaller request. The heart often becomes obsessed with one outcome because it fears uncertainty. It says, I must have this person. I must have this opportunity. I must receive this answer. But faith teaches you to say, Oh Allah, I desire this, but I desire your protection more. I want this, but I want what is best for my faith more. If it will bring me closer to you, grant it with barakah, and if it will harm me, remove it, and make my heart peaceful with your decision. This is not a weak prayer. It is one of the strongest forms of trust because it places Allah above your emotions. You are not denying what you want. You are admitting that Allah knows what you need better than you do. My beloved brothers and sisters, do not give up because someone else appears to be receiving their relief before you. Comparison makes waiting more painful than it needs to be. You look at someone's marriage, success, family, confidence, or opportunities and wonder why Allah gave them what you have been requesting for years, but you do not know their complete story. You see the blessing, but not always the responsibility attached to it. You see the public smile, but not the private test. You see what Allah gave them, but you do not know what He protected you from by making you wait. Every person has a different examination. Some are tested through receiving, others are tested through waiting. Some are tested through abundance, others are tested through loss. Do not assume that receiving quickly always means being more loved, or that waiting means being rejected. Allah's love cannot be measured by how closely your life resembles someone else's. Your path is your path. Your timing is your timing. Your test is designed with knowledge of your heart, your weaknesses, your capacity, and the future Allah has written for you. Do not rush toward another person's destination while abandoning the lessons on your own road. There may be wisdom Allah wants to place inside you before the next chapter begins. There may be habits He wants you to leave, relationships He wants you to reconsider, and wounds He wants you to address. The waiting period is not empty space between your dua and its answer. It is part of the journey. Use it. Do not spend the entire season only staring at the closed door. Strengthen your prayer. Improve your character. Care for your health. Learn useful skills. Repair neglected relationships. Serve others. Build a life that remains meaningful while you wait. Do not postpone living until one particular dua is answered. You are still alive today. Today still contains responsibilities, blessings, and opportunities for worship. You can be waiting for something and still be grateful for what remains. Gratitude does not mean pretending that the pain does not exist. It means refusing to allow one pain to erase every mercy. You may be hurting, but you are still breathing. You may feel alone, but Allah has not withdrawn His knowledge or care. You may have lost something, but not everything. Look again at what remains. Perhaps you still have a parent who prays for you, a friend who listens, a home that protects you, a body that continues carrying you, or faith that still whispers the name of Allah even when your heart is tired. These are not small mercies. Sometimes Allah keeps certain blessings quiet so that only the reflective heart notices them. The ability to sleep for a few hours after weeks of anxiety is mercy. The moment you laugh genuinely after a period of sadness is mercy. The day you realize you no longer need to check whether someone contacted you is mercy. Healing often enters in small portions. Do not reject the small relief because you are waiting for a dramatic transformation. Thank Allah for every sign of progress. Gratitude strengthens what is growing. When you recognize small improvements, hope becomes easier to protect. Perhaps you still cry, but not as often. Perhaps you still remember, but the memory no longer controls your decisions. Perhaps you still feel afraid, but you now pray before panicking. That is progress. Do not allow one difficult day to convince you that every previous step was wasted. Healing is not always a straight road. Some days you will feel strong, and then a small reminder may make the pain return. This does not mean you have failed. It means the heart is still learning. A wave returning does not mean the entire ocean has defeated you. Allow the feeling to pass without building a permanent home inside it. Do not make decisions during the emotional wave that will create consequences after it is gone. When you feel overwhelmed, pause. Make wudu. Pray if you are able. Take a walk. Speak to someone trustworthy. Step away from the message, conversation, or environment that is intensifying your emotions. Give yourself time before reacting. Not every emotion requires immediate action. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is wait until your heart becomes calm enough to choose wisely. There may have been a time when every emotion controlled your behavior. When you felt abandoned, you begged. When you felt angry, you spoke harshly. When you felt lonely, you returned to the person who repeatedly harmed you. Now Allah may be teaching you emotional discipline. You can feel without obeying every feeling. You can miss someone without contacting them. You can feel angry without becoming cruel. You can feel afraid without compromising your values. This is strength. Do not measure strength only by whether you feel pain. Measure it by what you choose while the pain is present. A strong believer may cry but still refuses to harm others. They may feel lonely but still refuse a forbidden connection. They may feel desperate but still protect their prayer. Their strength is not the absence of emotion. It is the presence of obedience within emotion. My beloved brothers and sisters, perhaps you are one sincere decision away from changing the direction of your life. That decision may not look dramatic. It may be the decision to stop contacting someone. It may be the decision to seek professional support, return to prayer, leave a harmful environment, or finally speak honestly with someone trustworthy. Do not wait for your entire life to change before taking one step. Allah often opens paths after movement begins. You ask for guidance, then you must be willing to follow when guidance becomes clear. You ask for healing, then you must stop reopening the wound. You ask for peace, then you must reduce the habits, people, and environments that continuously disturb it. Participate in your dua. Do not ask Allah to protect you while willingly returning to danger. Do not ask Him to remove attachment while feeding it every day by revisiting old conversations and memories. Do not ask for a fresh beginning while preserving every entrance to the past. Close what must be closed. This may hurt temporarily, but temporary pain can prevent repeated harm. Sometimes the heart chooses familiar pain over unfamiliar peace because it knows how to survive the pain. Peace feels strange, silence feels empty. The absence of emotional chaos feels like the absence of love. But chaos is not love. Inconsistency is not passion. Constant anxiety is not proof of connection. Begging for respect is not loyalty. Allah may be teaching you that peace can feel quiet. The right relationships may not make you question your value every day. Healthy love does not require you to repeatedly abandon your dignity. Good people may correct you, disagree with you, and have imperfections, but they will not use your vulnerabilities as weapons. Learn to recognize the difference between the discomfort of growth and the damage of repeated harm. Not every difficult relationship is toxic, and not every disagreement means you should leave. But when there is a consistent pattern of manipulation, humiliation, dishonesty, or harm, wisdom requires boundaries and appropriate help. Do not use religious language to remain in danger. Patience does not mean accepting abuse without seeking protection. Forgiveness does not mean allowing unlimited access. Tawakkul does not mean refusing practical action. Allah gave you intellect, community, lawful support, and means of protection. Use them. Seek help when the situation requires it. Speak to qualified and trustworthy people. There is no shame in receiving counseling or medical support when emotional pain becomes overwhelming. Do not suffer alone because you are afraid people will question your faith. Seeking help can itself be an act of faith when you recognize that Allah places healing through different means. A doctor does not replace Allah. A counselor does not replace dua. They are means, while Allah remains the source of healing. My beloved brothers and sisters, if your thoughts ever become so dark that you feel you may harm yourself or that life is no longer worth living, do not remain alone with those thoughts. Speak immediately to someone you trust and seek urgent professional help. Your current pain is not permission to end the life Allah gave you. You may not be able to see a way forward today, but your inability to see the path does not mean no path exists. Pain narrows vision. It convinces you that the present feeling will last forever. It will not. There are people trained to help you survive the moment until your heart can see possibilities again. Reaching out is not weakness. It is protecting the amana Allah placed in your care. Your life has value even when you cannot currently feel that value. You are not a burden because you need help. You are not failing because you cannot carry everything alone. Human beings were not created to live without support. Even strong people need someone to sit beside them in a difficult hour. Do not allow pride, shame, or fear of judgment to keep you trapped in silence. Your silent pain has reached Allah, and one of His answers may be the person He sends to help you carry it. Accept the help. My beloved brothers and sisters, you have already survived moments you once thought would destroy you. Look back carefully. There were days when you believed you would never recover, but somehow you continued. You may have moved slowly, cried often, and made mistakes, but Allah carried you forward. The fact that you survived yesterday is evidence that your feelings do not always predict your future. You thought you could not endure it, yet Allah placed endurance inside you when the moment arrived. Do not judge your ability to survive tomorrow using only the strength you feel today. Tomorrow's strength has not yet been given because tomorrow has not yet arrived. Allah gives strength according to the moment. When the next day comes, the mercy written for that day will come with it. The help, clarity, and patience needed for tomorrow may not be in your hands tonight, but they are already within Allah's knowledge. Carry today. Do not attempt to carry your entire future at once. Pray today's prayer. Make today's decision. Avoid today's temptation. Fulfill today's responsibility. Tomorrow, by Allah's permission, you will do it again. Great journeys are survived through small, faithful steps. You do not need enough strength for the next 10 years. You need enough strength for the next right action. Perhaps the next right action is simply to rest. Perhaps their exhaustion is making everything appear darker than it is. Your body and mind have rights. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and healthy routine are not separate from spiritual well-being. You cannot neglect your body completely and then wonder why your emotions become more difficult to regulate. Care for yourself as an amana. Rest is not giving up. Rest can be preparation for continuing. There is a difference between pausing to regain strength and abandoning the journey completely. Pause when necessary, but do not surrender hope. The enemy of your soul wants you to interpret exhaustion as evidence that you have failed. But exhaustion may simply mean you have been carrying too much for too long. Put down what Allah never asked you to carry. You do not need to control how everyone sees you. You do not need to repair every relationship. You do not need to solve every family problem alone. You do not need to convince every person of your innocence. Do what is right and leave what is beyond your control with Allah. Much of your heaviness may come from responsibilities that were never yours. You are responsible for your actions, not for every person's reaction. You are responsible for speaking truth with wisdom, not for forcing everyone to accept it. You are responsible for making sincere effort, not for controlling every outcome. Release the illusion that everything depends upon you. Allah is running the universe without your anxiety. Trust Him with the matters you cannot carry. Say, "O Allah, I have reached the limit of my ability. I place what I cannot change with you. Guide me in what I can do and protect me from destroying myself over what belongs only to your control." This dua can remove enormous weight from the heart. You still make effort, but you no longer worship the result. You still care, but you no longer allow care to become self-destruction. You still love, but you understand that guidance, change, and final outcomes belong to Allah. This is balanced reliance. My beloved brothers and sisters, some of your pain may remain because you are still demanding an explanation for everything that happened. You believe healing will begin when you finally understand why the person changed, why the relationship ended, or why Allah allowed the plan to fail. But not every question will receive a complete answer in this world. Sometimes Allah gives you an explanation. Sometimes He gives you acceptance without one. Acceptance may be the greater gift. You may never understand every detail, but you can still decide that the unanswered question will no longer control your peace. You can say, "Allah knows, and His knowledge is enough for me to continue." You do not need every missing piece to move forward. The person may never admit what they did. They may never apologize. They may never recognize your value. But your healing cannot remain dependent upon their maturity. Allah can give you peace without their participation. Stop waiting for people to free you when Allah has already placed the key in your decision to release them. The closure may not come from another conversation. It may come from accepting that the repeated pattern was already the answer. Their actions explained what their words refused to admit. Release the need to hear what you already know. This is not bitterness, it is clarity. Use the clarity to protect your future, not to poison your heart. Forgive where you are able, but forgive for Allah and for your own peace, not because the harm was acceptable. Forgiveness does not erase accountability. It does not mean you must restore the same relationship. It means you refuse to drink bitterness every day, hoping the other person will suffer. Leave justice with Allah. Do not allow someone who harmed your past to continue controlling your present through hatred. Your future deserves your energy. My beloved brothers and sisters, the final victory is not that everyone who hurt you eventually regrets it. The final victory is that their behavior no longer determines your faith, character, and happiness. You stop needing them to suffer before you can feel peaceful. You stop needing them to recognize your value before you believe it. You know Allah saw everything. That knowledge becomes enough. The world may never understand how difficult your patience was, but Allah understands. People may praise the person who harmed you because they never saw what happened privately, but Allah saw every detail. Do not destroy your record trying to correct everyone else's opinion. Protect your character. Speak when speaking is necessary, especially when safety and justice require it, but do not make proving yourself the center of your life. There are battles won by evidence, wise action, and lawful means. There are other battles best left with Allah after you have done what is required. Ask Him to guide you toward the difference. My beloved brothers and sisters, relief is not always the return of what you lost. Sometimes relief is realizing you no longer want it back. Relief is waking up without the old anxiety. Relief is praying with concentration again. Relief is finding joy in ordinary moments after believing you would never smile sincerely. Relief can be a quiet heart. It can be a good friend, a repaired relationship with your family, a renewed purpose, or a deeper connection with the Quran. Do not limit relief to one outcome. Allah may replace one large attachment with many smaller mercies that collectively restore your life. Recognize them. Perhaps Allah removed one person so you could notice those who had loved you sincerely all along. Perhaps He closed one opportunity so you could develop abilities you would otherwise have ignored. Perhaps He allowed the loneliness so that you would finally hear the neglected needs of your own soul. Nothing placed with Allah is wasted. Your pain can become wisdom. Your loneliness can become worship. Your waiting can become patience. Your tears can become dua, but you must keep turning toward Him. Do not let pain transform into permanent distance. Every time the heart wanders, bring it back. Some days you will bring it back with strong faith. Other days you will bring it back with one weak sentence. "O Allah, do not leave me." Both are returns. Allah knows the difference between a careless heart and an exhausted heart. Continue. Even imperfect worship is better than complete abandonment. Pray what you can with sincerity. Read what you can understand. Make simple dua. Do not wait until your emotions become perfect. Faithfulness during numbness is precious because you are worshipping not only through feeling but through commitment. You are saying, "O Allah, my heart does not feel strong today, but I still know you are my Lord." That sentence may be heavier on the scale than you imagine. My beloved brothers and sisters, you may be one chapter away from understanding why the previous chapters had to happen. But even if complete understanding does not come in this life, your patience will never be wasted with Allah. No tear is lost. No sincere prayer disappears. No act of restraint is forgotten. The world records visible achievements. Allah records the private battles nobody applauded. He recorded the message you chose not to send because it would have reopened the wound. He recorded the anger you controlled. He recorded the night you cried and still prayed Fajr. He recorded every time you felt like giving up but continued for one more day. Do not think these moments are small. Your unseen patience may be building an unseen reward far greater than the visible blessing you are requesting. Perhaps Allah is raising your rank through the hardship. Perhaps He is removing sins. Perhaps He is preparing a reward that will make you forget the pain when you finally see it. Trust that nothing endured for Allah is meaningless. This does not mean you must love the hardship. You can ask Allah to remove it. You can seek lawful solutions. You can cry and admit that the test is difficult. Patience is not pretending the wound does not hurt. Patience is refusing to abandon Allah because it hurts. You may say, "Oh Allah, I do not understand this, and I do not know how much longer I can carry it, but I know that your mercy is greater than my confusion." This is beautiful faith. It is faith with tears in its eyes. My beloved brothers and sisters, perhaps you have come too far to recognize your own progress. You focus on how much healing remains and forget how much Allah has already changed. There was a time when you could not imagine one day without the person or situation. Now you have survived many. There was a time when one memory ruined the entire week. Now it may only disturb 1 hour. You are moving. The progress may be slow, but slow movement is still movement. Do not return to the beginning because you are frustrated that you have not yet reached the end. Continue. The mountain is climbed through steps that look small while taking them. Only after reaching higher ground do you recognize the distance covered. One day you will look back and say, "Allah carried me through all of that." You may not say you handled everything perfectly. You may remember mistakes, breakdowns, and moments of weakness. But you will also remember that despite everything, Allah did not let your story end there. He kept bringing you back. That is mercy. The fact that you are hearing this reminder while your heart still desires healing is itself a reason for hope. A completely dead heart does not care about returning to Allah. Your pain may be loud, but faith is still present because something inside you is still searching for His nearness. Protect that faith. Feed it with prayer, good company, beneficial knowledge, and honest dua. Do not constantly expose it to content, conversations, and people that increase hopelessness. Your heart is affected by what repeatedly enters it. Choose carefully. You cannot heal in an environment that continuously celebrates the behaviors that harmed you. You cannot build trust in Allah while constantly consuming messages that tell you life has no meaning. Surround yourself with reminders of hope, but also with people who speak honestly and encourage practical action. Hope is not pretending everything is fine. Hope is believing that with Allah everything can still be guided toward goodness. My beloved brothers and sisters, do not give up now. Do not give up because your dua took longer than expected. Do not give up because people failed you. Do not give up because you made mistakes during your pain. Do not give up because today feels like yesterday. Allah can create a tomorrow that resembles neither of them. The relief may arrive through a door you never considered. The answer may appear after you finally release your demand for control. The peace may enter after you stop returning to the same wound. Continue making effort. Continue choosing Allah. Continue becoming the person this trial is teaching you to be. Perhaps you are not waiting for relief as much as relief is waiting for you to become ready to carry it. So prepare your heart. Remove the habits that would destroy the blessing. Strengthen the prayer that will protect it. Learn gratitude before abundance arrives. Learn humility before success comes. Let the waiting refine you rather than ruin you. When Allah finally opens the door, you will enter it differently. You will appreciate what you once took for granted. You will protect what you once handled carelessly. You will remember the nights when you had nothing except dua, and those memories will keep your heart humble. The delay may become the reason the blessing remains. One day, you may thank Allah not only for giving you what was good, but also for refusing to give it before the correct time. My beloved brothers and sisters, hold on to this final truth. Your pain is not greater than Allah's mercy. Your problem is not greater than His power. Your confusion is not greater than His knowledge. The door may look closed to you, but no door is difficult for Allah. The future may look empty, but the unseen is full of what He has already written. You may feel forgotten, but the one who hears the footsteps of creation has not failed to hear your heart. Your silent pain has reached Allah. Every tear was seen. Every sincere dua was heard. Every moment you almost gave up was known. You have not been carrying this in complete loneliness. Allah was present in the nights when nobody called. He was present in the moments when you could not explain what hurt. He was present when you forced yourself to rise and continue. And the one who remained with you through the breaking will remain with you through the rebuilding. So take another step. Even if it is small, take it. Even if your heart is trembling, take it. Even if you do not see the entire path, take the next step that pleases Allah. Do not return to the darkness simply because the morning has not fully appeared. The light may already be approaching. Do not close the book while Allah is still writing. Do not declare defeat while your Lord remains capable of changing everything. Do not give up one step before Allah sends the relief you have been praying for. Hold on to Allah, because the heart that sincerely holds on to Him may become tired, wounded, and tested, but it will never be abandoned. My beloved brothers and sisters, perhaps nobody knows how close you came to giving up. Nobody knows how many nights you remained awake with a heavy heart, how many tears you wiped away before anyone entered the room, or how many times you said, "I am fine," because explaining the pain felt harder than carrying it. People may have seen your smile, your work, your responsibilities, and your silence, but Allah saw the battle behind all of it. He saw every moment you felt forgotten. He heard every dua you whispered with a trembling voice. He knew every question you could not explain, every disappointment you hid, and every time you forced yourself to continue when your heart had almost lost its strength. Nothing was hidden from Him, and nothing you endured with patience was wasted. So do not allow this painful chapter to convince you that your story is finished. Do not allow one closed door to make you believe that every door has closed. Do not allow the people who failed you to make you doubt the mercy of the one who has never failed you. What left your life may have been protection. What was delayed may have been preparation. What broke your heart may become the very reason your heart returns to Allah stronger, wiser, and more peaceful than before. You may not understand everything today, but you do not need to understand everything in order to trust Allah. You only need to take the next sincere step, protect your prayer, make the dua again, walk away from what keeps reopening the wound, seek help when the burden becomes too heavy, forgive without returning to repeated harm, and keep your heart open to the better future Allah can create from what now looks broken. One day, by the permission of Allah, you will look back at this season and realize that you were never abandoned. Allah was carrying you through every moment you thought you were walking alone. He was removing what would have harmed you, strengthening what had become weak, and preparing you for blessings your present heart could not yet carry. Perhaps the relief will come by changing your situation. Perhaps it will come by changing your heart. Perhaps the people will not return, but your peace will. Perhaps the door will remain closed, but Allah will open another door so beautiful that you will no longer wish the first one had opened. Until that day comes, hold firmly to Allah. When your heart becomes heavy, hold on to Allah. When the answer is delayed, hold on to Allah. When people misunderstand you, hold on to Allah. When loneliness becomes painful and the night feels too long, hold on to Allah. The world may change, people may leave, promises may be broken, and plans may collapse, but Allah remains. Your silent pain has reached Him. Your tears were seen. Your prayers were heard. Your patience was recorded. Your struggle was known. Do not give up now. You have survived too much to return to the place that broke you. You have come too far to allow one difficult day to erase your progress. The night may still be dark, but darkness has never been able to prevent the morning from arriving. May Allah heal every heart suffering in silence. May He replace fear with peace, confusion with guidance, loneliness with His closeness, and every painful loss with something better for your faith and future. May He protect you from returning to what He rescued you from, and may He grant you the strength to continue until you finally witness the mercy that was being prepared for you all along. Your story is not over. Allah is still writing. So rise again, make dua again, trust again, and continue walking. Your silent pain has reached Allah. Do not give up now.